What's going on, guys? Welcome back to some episodes of the TG podcast. It's Monday again. We're here talking everything Arsenal as always. And yeah, man, we've got quite a lot to go through. Obviously, we could talk about the result on the weekend against Chelsea. Arsenal winning by a goal to nil. We're talking about some big news as well. Some just rumours going around. I think, we're going to talk about Isak as well. Lots to talk about today, sort of situation going on in Arsenal with the transfer window in the summer. I know we're in March, but you know what it's like around Arsenal. Things come out early, people. But yeah, big up everyone as always. Only me and Rory tonight at the moment. Dom's playing football right now. Putting off an absolute masterclass as always. Big up to Dom. So he said kickoff is at 8 o'clock, so I don't know if he'll make it in time. If we're still going, he'll be here. But just at the moment, it's me and Rory. But that's all good. We'll run it up. Rory, man, how you doing? You all good, bro?
Yeah, I'm actually quite relieved that it's the international break now, to be honest. I don't know about you, but I'm actually relieved that the international break has actually come around. But yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm in the same boat, man. International football's back. I think for your perspective, having Tuchel as manager now, you're going to see some proper football. Having Lewis Skelly in the team as well. Big up Lewis Skelly, mate. And possibly Wanyeri, I think you said the other day as well, could get.
Nah, it's Gibbs White.
Oh, it's Gibbs White now
instead of Wanyeri. Yeah.
But
Wanyeri's still going to the under-21, so.
Still, Lewis Skelly will be there, guys. So that's great to see. Congratulations to him as well, man. Getting his first call up as well. But yeah, obviously international breaks here, people. Probably came at a good time for Arsenal. I know we won on the weekend. We will talk about that in a minute. But before we do that, let's pick up the chat before we do get started. Make sure you guys, if you got any questions, leave them in the chat down below. Get your thoughts in as well. But yeah, big up everyone. Tamina, as always. AFC always. Is anyone still awake after that second half? Big up to AFC always. We got Tom in the building. Big up Tom Red every single time. Late Guna, back again, as always, bro. Diamande, big up yourself. Lucas Burner account. Big up to you, bro. Marcus, ciao. Mi fratello Marcus. Forza Inter, man. Inter going to win you're going to do it back to back, bro. Good to see you, Marcus, man. Hope you've been keeping well as well, man. AFC forever. Big up to you. Big up yourself. Yadif, big up yourself as well, bro. Don't like the Italy team. I think it's strong enough apart from your boy, man, Di Marco, injury. So other than that, I think is really, really strong. I will probably make a video on that nearer to the time when we play Germany. Hit the likes, folks. Big up to AFC forever. Big up Red Army as well. Every single time. And yeah, appreciate everyone tuning in as always. So actually, we're going to do it a bit different today, man. We're going to go back to front. Like, I know I usually talk about the game that happened, but I want to actually talk about this Isak news. I'm going to try and share my screen if it works. Because Fabrizio came out and said, hold on. Yeah, what's up? There we go. You can see the screen, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, let me get us back on there. There we go. So Fabrizio came out and he said, big, massive proposals will come to the table for Alexander Isak. Arsenal will be there. Liverpool also there. For Arsenal, he's the absolute top target, apparently. Sesko is the other name on the list. For Liverpool, he's one of the names that they're considering. So, yeah, some interesting words there coming from Fabrizio. But as we know, Isak to Arsenal in the summer. We will talk about the 300 million war chest, apparently, that we got going on in the summer as well. Yeah, I mean, Isak, he just won the Carabao Cup with Newcastle. Obviously scored in the final as well. They possibly could get European Football Champions League as well. But, I mean, when you put it... I'll ask you this, Ray. When you look at this Isak situation, a lot of people were saying, why would he leave to join Arsenal? What do you make of that?
Well, I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't put it past him if he was going to stay at Newcastle or move to Liverpool, Barcelona, or elsewhere instead of coming to Arsenal, because obviously Isak has already won a trophy at Newcastle. He's been there for like 3 years, so he's won a trophy more recently than we have. So with the other clubs that are on the table potentially, like Barcelona, Lewandowski's obviously not going to have long left in his tank. And Liverpool are in desperate need of a striker because it's looking likely that Darwin Núñez is going to leave in the summer. So if they get big money, then they could afford him. So I wouldn't put it past him if he was going to go to Liverpool or Barcelona instead of Arsenal. And if he was going to stay at Newcastle, I mean, obviously we heard this same narrative that it was going to come last summer, but he ended up staying.
Yeah.
Same with Elise as well, but he ended up going to Bayern Munich. So, yeah, I think obviously Fabrizio's come out and already said that Isak is one of Arsenal's targets this summer, but we've been through this before. Like, ever since he was at Real Sociedad, we've been linked with the guy. And it's just been non-stop, and we've still not got the deal done. Now, that could change with the appointment of Berta, because I feel like what he has to do is give the fans what we want, right? Bring in that big number 9 or bring in that, marquee signing. Because the thing is, if you bring in Isak, he's going to want more money than Havertz, who is on over 270 grand a week. Jesus is on like 240. So
Yeah.
like 400k combined. So Isak is going to want at least 300k because there's no way he's going to be on less money than Havertz. There's no way he's going to want to be on less money than him. So it's going to be difficult. We all know that 150 million is going to be right. It's going to be a stretch. But if you want to win the league, then these are the sort of deals that you've got to make happen somehow. I mean, Declan Rice, we signed for 100 million, but that's obviously a defensive midfielder. We're talking one of the best strikers in the world so far this season, and I've been pretty much on Isak's case this whole time. Since he was at Real Sociedad, I've always wanted him. But all I got was I only scored 4 goals in La Liga. I mean, I've never seen a player that suits our profile better than Isak. The way he played in that final was just unreal. You know what? I don't think he did much in that game, if I'm being real.
Yeah, I agree.
But when the moment came, literally the first chance that fell to him, goal. And that's what we've been missing all season because apart from Saka, we have players that just shit the bed every time in front of goal. So obviously Isak would be perfect, but I just don't see it happening this summer. It's either going to be Sesko or we're going to go to Liverpool and sign Núñez. But I think Sesko is more likely to happen than Isak, if you ask me. But that's just me.
I agree. I mean, when you look at the price tag of Isak, like we know it's a lot, but I would pay it. I don't know about you, but I would pay that money for Isak.
Oh yeah.
This is the best out there. I think he's the most informed striker behind. I mean, who's actually out there? Would you say Mbappe that's ahead of him right now?
Gyökeres is up there as well.
Maybe Gyökeres is up there, but I still take Isak right now over Gyökeres.
Yeah, I think Isak suits our play better than a Gyökeres because you look at the way Sporting play with Gyökeres. Arsenal just do not play the way Sporting do. I think Gyökeres would suit a Man United or a Liverpool. Those are the only 2 clubs, whereas Isak could walk into any team. Not to say Gyökeres wouldn't walk into ours, but I think Isak would work for any team in Europe because he is that good. I mean, he's got the number 14 shirt at Newcastle. I think he wore it at Real Sociedad, if I'm not mistaken. He has obviously the gun fingers, you know what I'm saying? And I just picture in my mind him in that red and white shirt. It just suits him perfectly. But yeah, I don't know. It depends on whether the Cronkies are willing to give Berta the money to obviously get it over the line, but I don't think so. And like as I'm expecting, he's the absolute top target for Arsenal this summer. Well, I don't want to remind you, but when I was younger, Taylor Swift was on my list. we struggled to agree terms. So yeah, you know where I'm coming from. It's just another one to add in it. Like Arsenal are monitoring, are inquiring, are flirting.
Oh my days!
Like there's so many. We've seen this script before, innit?
Yeah, 100%. A lot of people will say this as well, which I have to agree. Like, maybe we had the chance, we had the best chance. Maybe the ship sailed in terms of the fact that we should have got him at Sociedad when he was at Sociedad, man.
Yeah.
And that time, I remember the time everyone was thinking he was coming. It was all tracking the number plates. Oh, Isak's registered his car in London and all that. Turns out, he went Newcastle instead, as we know people. But I sit there and I think we will not go Isak. It will be Sesko, man. It'll be Sesko. That's the guy we're gonna get. And for me, it's not like I don't hate Sesko as a player, because I think he's obviously I don't watch Leipzig, so I don't know. But just looking at what some of the stats, he's improved as the season's gone ahead in terms of his goal scoring and all this, which is really good to see for him. It's not like I don't rate him as a player. I just think he's more of the player that is just a project that could be good, but he's not hit the ground running. You look at Isak, he's proven. That guy comes in straight away. I mean, you see what he's done. You saw what this guy single-handedly did to William Saliba, man.
Yeah, and Van Dijk as well.
And Van Dijk as well.
Gabriel.
All of them, man. This is the best of the best out there right now. In terms of the striker, is Alexander Isak. That's why I'd pay that money.
Yeah, I agree.
Like him. But with Sesko, I look at him as just a very raw player, man.
Yeah. I think that deal should have happened like 2 or 3 years ago when we finished 5th that season and we were challenging for top 4. If that would have happened back then I'd have gone, you know what? I'd have taken him because he's then got a couple of years to develop. But we're almost relying on Sesko to hit the ground running straight away, which I don't think is the case. I think you leave him to develop at Leipzig for a couple of years, and if he does kick on, then you go after him. But the thing is, if we get Sesko this summer and you have him on a 5-year deal because he's like 21, 22, that'll block any entry of any other striker because the thing is, you've got Havertz on high wages, Jesus on high wages, Sesko on a 5-year deal. Like, he could be average for us. And we may not be able to get rid of him because both of them, Havertz is on high wages and obviously Arteta loves him. And Sesko is, he's going to be on a long-term deal if he was going to come to Arsenal. So, obviously, when Isak does eventually run his contract down, Barcelona, Liverpool, he'll go there and smash it, whereas we're stuck with 2 average strikers. No disrespect to Sesko because he could smash it in the Premier League, but I just think right now we need that finished article. And I think Isak or Gyökeres or even Osimhen, 60 million release clause, that's a no-brainer. Napoli don't want him anymore. So that there's plenty of strikers out there. There's Jonathan David who's available on a free transfer. So for me, it goes Isak. You can't get him, you go for Gyökeres. If you can't get Gyökeres, you go for Osimhen. You activate that 60 million release clause. If not, you go for Jonathan David. And if you can't get Jonathan David somehow, then you go for Sesko. That's me.
Yeah. Nah, I hear it, man. I hear it. And honestly, that'd probably be my order as well. Like, as we said earlier, Isak's the best of the best.
Yeah.
Go all out for him. Now, people will say, Liverpool are in the race as well. What we said about Berta as well at Atleti, right? When you look at the money that he spent at Atleti, look at the money that he spent on Joao Felix and Lamar as well. These are big, bad boy, money, big, hefty price tags, right? So I don't think he will have that. For him, I'm talking about Burt's. I know what we say about the Cronkies giving him the money and backing him and all this, right? But I know for a fact that Berta, as a director, he's proved already that he has the ability to spend this big money on certain players. And I said it when we first appointed Berta. A lot of people said about draft picks, oh, he's a flop and all this. Maybe in terms of with playing as a player for Atleti, yeah. But when you look in the situation of the deal, everyone wanted him, didn't he? Everyone wanted draft picks, and like Liverpool want Isak, we want Isak as well. So I'm confident if we were actually serious about this, that we can get it over Liverpool.
Yeah, I agree. I think if this was Edu, then yeah, I don't think we would have a chance of beating Liverpool or Barcelona to Isak. But with Isak, it's given me a bit of, not with Isak, with Berta, it gives me a bit of confidence that we can actually get big deals over the line. Apparently he's starting, I think he's coming in like next week or something throughout the international break. So he should be able to get his head down and, you know, get sorted with what we want to do in the summer. Because at the moment, I know we've got the Champions League to play for. Let's be honest, Real Madrid is going to be a long day if we play anything the way we have been playing in the Premier League. So I think right now, Berta's job is to think about what we're doing in the summer and think about like what the fans actually really want. Right, we need a number 9. Right, I think I mentioned in the last one that in 2014 he brought in David Villa, and the following season they won the league in 2014, and they reached the Champions League final. I think in lockdown they signed Luis Suarez, and the following season they won the league as well. So every time he has prioritised strikers, Atleti have actually kicked on and won the league. So obviously Arsenal need a striker. We need that finished article. We're not talking about any project strikers the likes of Sesko or anyone. In fact, I take it back. I know I've mentioned him a couple of times, but I'd go Isak, Gyökeres, Osimhen, David, Ekatike, and then Sesko. Okay. I think those are possibly my 6 strikers that I would prioritise. If one doesn't go to plan, then you have a plan B. So I think with Liverpool coming in, I mean, they don't really... When have you seen Liverpool spend big money?
Yeah, not really. Not often, if I'm being real.
Yeah, and their ownership as well.
Yeah, the ownership is like ours, to be honest.
Yeah, so that does fill me with a bit of confidence. But if Barcelona come swooping in early doors because Lewandowski's catching up with age, he's still brilliant, don't get me wrong, and he's had a brilliant season. But when is obviously the cut-off point for him? And Barcelona will be looking towards the future. And I don't know how old Isak is currently. I think he's like 25, 26 right now. So with Barcelona potentially winning La Liga and Liverpool obviously winning the league, that could sway him away from Arsenal. But at the same time, he has the opportunity to be the main man at Arsenal because he's going to be that focal point. And hopefully it will release a little bit of freedom off Saka, the amount of times he gets doubled up on every week. And we won't have to rely on him every single week to create chances because we'll have Isak up front instead. Again, it's just a dream at the moment. But yeah, I think back of my mind, it is going to be Sesko. If it's not going to be Sesko, it's going to be Nunes. That's the... I'm just being realistic. I think it's going to be either one of them two.
I can see. I pitched that as well because I know. I think was it the summer? There was a little rumor going around about Nunes.
Yeah, before we got Jesus.
Yeah, facts. So I don't know about that. Obviously, we love going to the rubbish bins, mate, of different clubs, and getting their rubbish.
But
So
the thing I'm worried about though, Arteta, if you were going to get Isak, please, for the love of God, play him up front. Do not try and accommodate Kai Havertz into the team.
Oh, no.
Right, play Havertz up front and then Isak on the left. No,
he would
can't be
actually play
doing-
Isak on the left.
No,
That's
he
the
can't be
thing.
doing that. I'm sorry.
Because he did it with he do it with Aubameyang as well.
Yeah, he did it with Aubameyang.
He played
Although
I remember
Emery did
Aubameyang
the
on the left
same, to be fair to him.
wing.
So
Yeah. He did it with Aubameyang. Like, I know he's that counter on the left wing, but come on, man. We know he's got to be that main guy for us, man. He's got to be that main striker.
Unless if you play him as like an inside forward, almost like cutting in, but like we know Arteta doesn't play with inside forwards. Like he doesn't tell his wingers to cut inside necessarily. Right, we usually play with touchline wingers. Wingers that can go down the byline and whip in crosses. Those are the sort of wingers we play. But with Isak, like, we've got to play him up front and you keep Havertz as the backup if you have to.
Yeah, but that's the right with Havertz, though. Like, we want Arteta keep because we know I swear Arteta's got his love flesh for Kai Havertz, man. When he first bought him, he tried him in the midfield. We remember that. It didn't work out. Now he's a striker, and it's like, because he's paid that much money for him, because he wanted this guy as well. But let's not forget, right? Is Arteta gonna settle with him as a backup?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so, man.
I think it's either gonna go two ways. Isak would play on the left-hand side, and Havertz will play up front, or Isak will actually play in his natural position, and we'll go, I don't know, Martinelli on the left, or I don't know, a left winger coming in the summer. Someone like a Nico Williams. I don't know, right? Someone like that. But then we'll go Havertz in midfield. I just don't see how he misses out Havertz in the starting 11. Obviously, he has played left back before for Germany, so that's a possibility as well. Honestly, won't surprise me if we see him in first.
Yeah, I remember when Niall's been playing left back. Oh, please. Yeah, this is facts as well. We got Eros every single time, my brother. He says he thinks he's Dexter. Can't see playing players out position. Doing experiments 24/7. He would ruin Isak anyway. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, man. Like this manager loves to do. He loves to do all these, different type of positions. Loves to play players in different positions.
Yeah, multitask.
It's mad. I don't get it with this manager at times, to be honest with you, man. But yeah, I mean, that's waiting to see what happens. Like, what do you make of all the news about Arsenal got a 300 million war chest in the summer and all that? Because for me, I don't like. I think we will be given money because I think we're cleared of all the rules and all that now. We're gone past that, so we will spend money in the summer. But 300 million, really? That'll take Arteta up to $1 billion as a manager. £1 billion spent in the 300 in one summer, man. If it's true, I'm buzzing for it. But at the same time, is the club going to spend it wisely? Are we going to get it on what we need? Are we going to do what's required with that amount of money? Because we've already spent a lot under this manager, and we're still not really done in every window. Let's be honest with it, people. We fell short every single window. We've had missed opportunities, and we've not done what's required.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think how much we were required last summer. It must have been close to at least 200 million last summer. And obviously we were promised after when we got knocked out by Bayern last season that we were going to get a striker. This is Arteta's number one priority, the striker. We're for definite going to get that done. We didn't get it done. And we bought Neto, Sterling on loan, Merino, and a left back with gorgeous hair. That's all we bought in the summer. A hybrid left back, a centre midfielder, that's now playing 9, and then a lone Sterling and a lone Neto who's cup tied. So that's like, that's mad. When the promise was, right, the promised land was to get that striker in after the Bayern Munich game. So
definitely, man. Look who's here, man.
Oh, it actually finally
Oh,
works.
oh my days.
Actually finally works. Restream in, mate.
Luca talks ball is in the building, man.
Yeah.
No, the private chat was in the way, so I couldn't even see you.
What are you telling me, Luca? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I just finished 2 streams. I did a preview with Italy, Germany, mate. You know what I'm saying? I just done 2 shows today, innit? So I'm done for today. I'm good for tomorrow.
Yeah, well, we've just been talking about this Isak news. I don't know if you've seen it today, Luca, what Fabrizio said. But we're just talking about, you know, if this is a possibility in the summer, man. What do you make of the Isak situation?
I think for me, look, this fan base for me are just getting too gassy, bro. You know what I'm saying about Alexander Isak. Look, we all want to sign Alexander Isak. Big up Gunnar Gavin. I hope you're well, mate. But the trouble is, look, Isak for me would be a quality striker, but he's not coming to Arsenal. We already know what the target's going to be in the summer. Benjamin Sesko is going to be our number 1 target for the summer. There's no way we are going to pay Isak. The only way, look, Newcastle won the Carabao Cup yesterday, right? I think Isak stays, majority now. Because do you really see anyone paying? And do you really see us paying 100 million? If Newcastle fail to get Champions League football, maybe there's a slim chance, right, on Alexander Isak coming. But I don't see him coming to Arsenal. I hope I'm wrong, right? But why would we end up paying over 100 million for Alexander Isak? Because we're not going to do that. I know we paid 105 mil for Declan Rice for High Price FC, but Alexander Isak, we're not paying this sort of money. Like, people got to be real now, because the majority of that is he's won a Carabao Cup at Newcastle. Yes, we did do it Red Army under Declan Rice, but that's different, right? But Alexander Isak, I would 100% would love him. If we get this guy, then you've got to put us favourites to win the league. Then people will be like, oh, 1 player ain't going to... Well, it does make a difference, because Alexander Isak, right, is majority pretty much one of the best strikers in the league. He's so prolific. He's goal scored. He scored an absolute unreal goal against Liverpool yesterday. But do you really believe that the Cronkies are that ambitious to go and get Isak, where we were chasing Benjamin Sesko throughout the 2 transfer windows? This Arsenal are not going to be ambitious to go and get Alexander Isak in this summer. If let's see what happens in the summer, because the summer transfer window, right? We sat there and got Raheem Sterling. This January transfer window, we could even put a second bid for Ollie Watkins, right? And we didn't buy. And what makes us think we're going to pay over 100 million with FFP coming into?
Well, no, because I said this earlier, Luca. We cleared the FFP. We have cleared the FFP for me. Yeah, we got no rules.
We're not
and
under
I'm
any
confident. Yeah, we've got no restrictions anymore. We've gone past that, so we can't spend money there. And what I'm hoping is this new director is the business mate. You know what I'm trying to say? And he actually comes in and, you know, if he gets given the money, which we've seen happen in the past, yeah, the Cronkies have gave Edu and Arnseta the backing. If they give this Berta guy the money, I think I'm confident, yeah, that he can do some big things for us, man.
What? So you're confident that we're going to end up getting Alexander Isak?
No, I didn't say that, man. I didn't say Alexander Isak. I said you see, you're twisting my words. I didn't say. When did I say we're going to get?
Your screen was lagging.
When did I say? I didn't say that. I said I'm confident with Berta that he can do what's required as a director because of what I've seen so far at Atletico Madrid.
Yeah. I don't know anything about this Atletico Madrid director. I've not seen him, but I'm by going by what people are saying, I think it sounds very promising. but he's not going to sack Mikel Arteta. He's not going to sack Mikel Arteta. We know.
Well, that's not his job, though.
But that's
his job
not his
is
job.
to sack the manager, though.
No, the job is pretty much the ownership decide to sack Mikel Arteta. This guy's coming in to actually be Eddie's replacement, to actually see if we can actually get the right transfers.
Mm.
And I hope he does get it right. And it sounds very positive. Ocampos was the dream, but however, regardless to that, we've got this
Campos,
the PSG guy.
You mean Luis Campos?
Luis
Campos.
Campos is a severe player.
proper butch that, but look, I think for me, look, let's wait and see what happens. This guy got Julian Alves in. He got certain people like Anton Griezmann.
Do you know what? That's it's funny you mentioned Alvarez. Yeah, that's the alternative I'll take to Isak. You know,
Really?
Alvarez to Arsenal.
I don't think he's an out-and-out striker, though. I think he's good.
Yeah.
But I'd take him as a centre attacking midfielder. I think he'll be brilliant there.
Yeah. What about you, Luca?
Julian Alves will be good as a plan B option, but I'll have him as a Bukayo Saka backup, right? But even
What?
A right winger?
Saka backup for Alvarez.
Julian Alves can get in there.
Alvarez walks into it. Nah, he don't go Saka backup, mate.
And he wouldn't play right wing for us.
Luca, Julian Alvarez, we're talking about from Man City. Remember, he's at Atletico now.
Well, yeah, of course we are. Yeah, of course, he's quality. Don't get me wrong. Atleti against Barca was one of the best matches in this season in La Liga yesterday. And look, Julian Alves, look, he'll be a good signing for Arsenal, but he's not my first choice winger. Right? There's other options who I want as a winger. I'd take maybe someone like Semenyo for assistance. I'd take Kudus as well. These are wingers where I would love. Look, are them two better than Alvarez? No, of course.
No, but Alvarez ain't a winner.
No, he's more of an attacking midfielder.
We will not sign him if we will not sign Alvarez if we ever did and play him on the wing.
What makes you say that? This is Mikel Arteta. He plays position.
Okay, yeah, I understand when you say it's Mikel Arteta, yeah, because we had this conversation about Isak just a minute ago. We said if we actually signed Isak, this match will probably be on as a left winner instead of an actual striker, because he did it with Aubameyang.
Yeah, but he did it with Aubameyang. Yeah, but if Arteta brought Alexander Isak in, he will be the number 9 target. He will be coming in as the majority of the main man, and if we end up getting Alexander Isak, then we will have to end up.
What a name this is, by the way.
I think I know exactly who that is, but fair enough. But no, thank you very much for those words.
Big up, Mel.
Big up to Merino as always.
Will you take slot Arsenal? Read the question, Luca.
Well, he's not going to come. But my answer to that is, yeah, why not? Because I didn't expect Liverpool were going to be as good as this. I thought they were going to have a transition season, get top 4, win a cup. They spent no money. They brought an injury-prone player who was finished 4 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. And then majority of that slot, I would 100% take him. Because what phrase?
It's not been that good, though. It's because it's more or less like we've been crap in the Premier League than
yeah, we've been awful this season.
Yeah, but that's not really down to how good Liverpool have been. I don't look at Liverpool and go, they're like a government experiment dominating the league.
No, Liverpool will never be what Man City were 4 consecutive seasons.
They're probably the worst Premier League winners I'm ever going to experience in my lifetime.
Yeah, I mean...
Worse than Leicester.
I hear that. I feel like Liverpool and the other competitions, I mean, they're being found out, man, clearly. FA Cup, they got found out by... Who the hell did they lose to?
The Championship side,
Plymouth, yeah, won it. Carabao Cup, they got obviously in the final. Newcastle did the business. Champions League against PSG. Let's be real, even in that first leg, PSG battered them.
Yeah, they did.
Because the pressure's off. That's why they wanted to go and win the league, because they dominated throughout the whole league. We're winning every single week. But
I think when it comes to slot, that's the system that he plays.
We had the opportunity there.
I feel like you have cup managers, right? That suited for the cup only, compared to, but they can't do it consistently in the Premier League. The perfect example is Good Evening for that.
Yeah, but the trouble. Yeah, but
Good in all the cups. Yeah, like you see his European record, but when it comes to Premier League and or league competitions, even if you look when he was at Villarreal and teams like that, right, and Sevilla, he couldn't sustain that system in the La Ligas. He couldn't do it in the Premier. I know he's been well for Villa, but even with Arsenal, right, couldn't sustain that consistently in the Premier League. I thought it's opposite for Klopp.
He never worked out at Arsenal. He never worked out Josh at Arsenal.
No, he didn't. But my point is, he's more of like a cup manager.
Yeah.
It's like maybe like Rafa Benitez as well, you could say. More of a cup manager.
Yeah, for the Europa League, like, he was no good in anything else but the Europa League. Like, did he get 4 in the FA Cup?
Yeah, but no, he didn't. But the point is, like, he played in Europa League. He was fantastic. I agree. The other cups, he was all like, he got found out. But when it came to European competition, he always played that same. He did it with Villarreal. He did it with, I think, maybe with us. I think he played Aubameyang and Lacazette as the 2 strikers. He always went the 4-4-2, and it worked in European competitions. But then when you do that in the league, it doesn't work. It didn't work out. It don't work out. So I think that's the difference. Like, it's like with not just Emery, but there's other examples of that as well. I feel like.
Can I ask a question quickly?
Yeah, go on.
Right, how did Emery get into the Europa League then? With Sevilla, how do you win them 3 Europa Leagues in a row?
Because he's got experience.
He got because he got.
He knows how to win it.
Yeah, but you can't take that away from you. You can't, like, it's European.
I'm not, but I'm just saying, like, he's not as good as you think he is in cup competitions. Right, he got knocked out of the Champions League group stages 3 times in a row. That's why he won them 3 Europa Leagues in a row.
Yeah, but he got
look at the team
semi-final.
Yeah, but look at the team he was. It's Sevilla. Like, is Sevilla expected to go and win the Champions League?
No, I'm not saying go and win the Champions League, but they shouldn't be getting knocked out of the group stages if they're good enough to win the Europa.
Yeah, fair enough, but he still went on and won 3 in a row with them.
Yeah, I'm not taking that away from him, but when you look at his cup competition heritage as a whole, it's poor.
Maybe the other cups, but in the European side, Europa League side of things, he's won it the most times like any other manager.
Yeah, but like that's it. He's only good in Europe.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make. Like, with Slot so far has proved that Premier League, he's done it, but in the other competitions, he's been found out. I think there's managers like that.
Yeah.
Dom's in the building. How you doing, Dom? You
right? Mate, all right. Yeah, sorry to be late.
How was it, mate? Did you win?
No, mate. We weren't going to win 4 on the bounce. Don't be daft. Relegation.
Did you play well at least, man?
Yeah, not my best night tonight, to be fair. Gave away a penalty as well.
You're lagging.
Yeah,
Are you lagging or something?
No, Luke,
he's fine, mate. You're lagging, mate. You've got your Wi-Fi settings.
I was on my area.
Luca, mate, you're lagging, mate. No, it's you. Dom's completely fine. Come back in and come back out.
Yeah, Josh and Rory, I had. Luca seemed to be lagging my end, but it could have been my internet because it's only just loaded up. But yeah, no, I gave away a penalty as well. Quality tackle. Even their striker said I won the ball. Clean as a whistle again. You didn't even touch me, but it is what it is. I'm 40 and they're very much not.
We got Dom, man. It's right. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see if he's back.
Am I back?
You're good, mate. Good.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
All right, Luca, how are you? You all right?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you. I'm good.
Retro shirt, mate.
Bruce Banana, mate.
Bruce Banana, proper kid, mate.
I'll have to crack out my it must be 1995, that blue and sort of turquoise one with the lightning bolt on it from
Dennis Bergkamp one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
This is
probably still fixed me. I was 11 at the time.
You boys have been on a panel together as well, right? You and Luca.
Yeah.
I know, Luca, you tuned into Dom's. Hold on, Luke. Seb can't come on tonight, man.
We need to have a me and Seb conversation on here.
Yeah.
We've got.
I know, Luca, you like tuning into Dom's videos, man. I think we all do. They're class.
Yeah, no,
but-
thank you, Luca. That's really kind of you, by the
I
way.
always comment, innit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, thank you for that. I appreciate that, actually. Very, very kind of you. I'm just starting out, so, any help I can get, I'll take 100%.
100%. Nah, Dom, big up Dom. So yeah, Dom, literally the past 40 minutes, all we've been talking is Isak, mate. That's it. And,
Nice.
yeah. But yeah, we've just been talking about obviously, and also the 300 million war chest apparently, Dom. But firstly, I want to get your thoughts, obviously, on Isak. Like we're talking about it. Is he really going to leave Newcastle in the summer? Because he just won the Carabao Cup with them, right? Obviously, he scored in the final. Possibly they're going to get Champions League as well, or in some sort of European football. We know the price tag is there as well, but we just read what Fabrizio came out and said today that apparently we made him our top target. There's no surprises there. It's Isak, and also Liverpool interested as well. But what do you make of like the whole Isak situation, man?
I think he's getting a train down, mate. No, I mean, in all seriousness, look, I think it's silly season right at the moment. We've got reports left, right, and centre, and I think Arsenal will always be popular for those things because it's a massive fan base, and obviously a new director of football coming in, it sort of increases the the rumour mills around. I think some of them will, I'm not saying journalists are making them up because I don't believe that most journalists make things up. I think that's, not right, but there's a lot of misinformation out there either because people want contracts at their existing club or people are putting price tags on to try and ward off interest. And I think with Isak, it sort of falls into that latter camp. Do I think anyone's paying 150 million for Isak? No. Do I think he's one of the best number 9s in the world? Absolutely. But I think some of this will depend a lot on what Newcastle do. If they make Champions League football, I don't think they're going to need to sell. I think if they don't make Champions League football, I think their financial situation becomes a bit tighter. But I suspect they would rather sell Bruno Guimaraes than Alexander Isak right now. And look, last summer he was very clear. He was settled in the area. Family's all settled there. He's very happy there. Easy flight back to Sweden from there. I mean, it's not horrific from London, to be fair, but and he's got a long-term contract. So Newcastle hold all the cards. So I think if you're getting him out of Newcastle, then I think it needs either them to not get Champions League football, or it needs or it will need him to push for a move. From his point of view, I think he is more likely to win something at Arsenal or Liverpool for all the good work Newcastle have done. They've got no European football this year. That knocks down the amount of games they've got to play. And I still think that, there's a lot of work still for them to do. I think they will, do a little bit of up and down, but they're definitely going in the right direction. And he's a big focal point for that. Would I take him to Arsenal? 100%. Would I pay 150 million? Difficult because you've got other areas of squad you're going to want to do as well. But
yeah,
what a player he is. But I my gut feeling says he stays at Newcastle.
Yeah, no, pretty well said there. And also, obviously, the alternative we've spoken about was Sesko, as expected. Like me and Maru talking about Sesko coming in, we sort of said the same thing. More of like he's still a very raw player for me. Like, I mean, you obviously you look at Isak, he's completely. I mean, you watched him against us when he played against Arsenal, Dom, even against Liverpool as well, against Van Dijk, up against Saliba, Gabriel. They couldn't handle this guy, man. I look at someone like Sesko. I don't think he's a bad player, from what I've seen, but I just think he's still got a lot to prove. So I don't know what you think about Sesko, like if he will be the guy in the summer.
I think he's the most likely transfer to come in, and he fits sort of what we have at the moment a little bit better, which is a big target man, links up play reasonably well, will offer something in the box. I think to make the Isak comparison, right, Isak is definitely way head and shoulders above him right now. No question, Premier League proven, which Sesko isn't. But you'd expect him to be ahead as well because he's that bit older. But I would liken any signing of Sesko to the Newcastle signing of Isak, right? Which is really good striker, really good profile, done well, little bit raw. You're sort of signing for what you hope he becomes. But if he doesn't improve beyond his level, it's not a horrific signing. I think Arsenal probably should be going for the finished article, but I'm not concerned by Sesko. But would I take Isak or Gyökeres ahead? Yes, I would right now, definitely. But I think it all depends on. Well, I like Jonathan David, but I see him as a Trossard, right? You sell Trossard 20 million, 25, 30 mil, whatever, and then if you can get Jonathan David on a free, that's 30 million profit, if you like. And I think you've got as good a player, if not better, in Jonathan David. Obviously not proven in English Premier League, but I think a lot of it will depend on how much money Arsenal have to spend. And I don't believe the £300 million figure, because why the hell would Arsenal reveal that publicly? It makes no sense to do that. But I think it will be significant. By my own numbers, I reckon we've got about 200 to 250 million, depending on what we do wages wise, in terms of sort of money. But if you do Isak, then I think you're struggling to do the other. You're probably struggling slightly more to do other bits and pieces. Whereas you do Sesko at 70, 75 million, you're probably looking at a 7 out of 10 rather than a 9 out of 10 striker. But you've got more money to do elsewhere on the team. So I think they're the decisions Arsenal will have to weigh up. But as I say, I don't believe anyone pays 150 million for Isak. And I think if they do, good as he is, it's an overpay, because, well, he's been relatively injury-free this season. He does have an injury history. Sorry?
Sorry,
Go.
No, go for it.
Yeah, but when you say that they're not going to pay 150 million, means Isak's going to end up staying at Newcastle for another season. Whereas I don't see Arsenal teams like that, because if he left in the summer, I think he goes to Liverpool. I think 100% he goes.
What makes you say that?
Because Liverpool are ambitious, bro. Like,
they're not ambitious.
Are they? Have you seen their owners?
I'd say, FSG are not great, but he wants to be in the Premier League. He will go to a title-winning team. If Arsenal are not willing to pay the money.
Yeah, but like, where are they getting that money from? Like, when have you seen Liverpool splash 100+ million?
Liverpool didn't spend their money in the summer. They bought an injury-prone player who was finished 4 years ago. So they're going to have that sort of money.
Yeah, but are they willing to spend it, Luca?
Well, I think so. Yeah, I think so. But the majority of that.
So, okay, I'll ask you this: if we would say, like, we're both in the race, like you know how Declan Rice was when it was Man City and Arsenal,
Yeah, of course.
You're saying that Liverpool would beat us to the Isak?
They've got more chance, right? But I know Liverpool's transfer fee is not great compared to us, and they don't spend a lot of money. But they always find a way. I didn't expect Liverpool were going to be in a title challenge this season. I thought it was always going to be us and Man City. And I thought City were going to win the league, but no one expected City to be as bad as this. But I just feel Liverpool winning the Premier League title, they would probably want to go for a big name, because I don't see Salah leaving in the summer. Virgil van Dijk's not going to leave. I think they're going to end up staying for another year, because if they didn't win the league, and if we would have won the league, and if Liverpool went trophyless, then they will leave, and then obviously Liverpool will be felt like they're broken. And I do think that they are going to have to look for a few attackers. Jamie Carragher said yesterday after the game, Liverpool need attackers that are going to get into a lineup. Don't get me wrong, Liverpool have got good squad depth. Got better squad depth than us, right? They've got Darwin Núñez. Okay, he's rubbish, but
he's leaving anyway.
They've got Jota, who may leave. They've got Cody.
He's leaving as well. Luis Diaz may leave as well.
I mean, the thing is, right, as I just mentioned, right, I've got a list of Liverpool's record signings, right? Their record signings, Darwin Núñez for 85 million.
Yeah.
Right? Van Dijk for 84, Szoboszlai for 70 million, Alisson for 60. Those are their top 4 signings for at least over 80 million. Isak is worth at least 100 million. Hence, I think Isak will end up at Barcelona. I don't think he'll end up at Liverpool, but I'm not sure if he'll end up at money.
Could I quickly come in? I think Luca's right here. Barcelona, I don't think can afford it unless they do some crazy thing with their finances.
Yeah,
but I think
if he's I can see him going to Bayern or someone like that. I don't see him going to Liverpool.
If Isak's price tag comes down to where more he's worth at 100 million, I think Arsenal are in on that. I don't think anybody pays 150 million, because I think that's a massive overpay. I think Liverpool's position will be similar to Arsenal's, right? It will depend on where they want to put their money and how they want to spread it. And I think for Liverpool, some of that will come down to how many of those 3 players that are out of contract go. Trent definitely goes. I think Virgil stays. I think Salah, it's 50-50. And then how much they make sort of through sales and stuff. But I think from an Arsenal perspective, an Isak perspective, I don't think he's too worried about whether it's Liverpool or Arsenal, because I think he probably thinks both can win the league.
But if Salah goes, Is Isak replaceable for Salah? Because Isak's the number 9 striker.
Yeah, but Salah's going on a free though.
On a free, it means Liverpool are not getting no money. Hence why Salah has to sign that new deal to get money for Liverpool, because it would be...
Yeah, but they're not going to sell him for money. Like, he's either going to go for free or he's going to sign a new contract and he'll stay for another season.
But surely they've got to get money, surely, Rory, because obviously selling a World Cup...
They're not going to sign him up on a new contract.
No, they won't.
Player of that caliber, you cannot let him... I understand about the age, but however, you cannot let him go on a free. You've got to get a bit of money.
I don't think it's Liverpool's choice right now.
Yeah, but you're not going to sign up a player like Salah and then just let him go for money in the summer. You just can't do that if you're Liverpool. One of your best players in like recent history.
Yeah, Aubameyang.
One of the best players that has ever graced the Premier League, and you just give him a new contract to let him go for money.
But
you can't do that.
He's going to win a league title. But he's going to win a league title. So if he signs a 1-year extension, it probably doesn't mean anything. It probably means he'd be like 20 million resistance. Hence
20 million?
Yeah, if he signs a 1-year extension, it'd be about 20 million.
Here's why that won't happen. If you're Mohamed Salah, you don't sign a new contract to be sold, because if you go on a free, you can say, well, you didn't pay a transfer fee for me. And if I'm under contract, even at my age, I'm worth minimum 50 mil, right? That's 50 mil you can give me in extra wages rather than paying to Liverpool. So it makes no sense for Salah to sign a new deal unless he wants to stay. It's why Liverpool are powerless right now with Mohamed Salah. They will have offered him a deal. They will have offered him a very good deal, I'm sure. But ultimately, it's now going to be up to Mohamed Salah rather than Liverpool if he stays, because Liverpool will have done everything they can, no question, to keep him.
What would the damage be for Liverpool next season, Arsenal, Dominic? Is it going to be Arsenal's year next year, 2026, right? Next year, World Cup season. Is it going to be Arsenal's year? Will Man City be back next season? Would they go out and sign 4 or 5 players?
Well, we said this about this season. Like, Man City dropped off and this was meant to be it for us. But then Liverpool are nowhere, didn't they?
But the thing is, right, Liverpool are losing players next season, potentially. So, like, if we haven't got a better chance of winning it next season when
That's why Arsenal have to go and get these sort of players.
I agree. I agree, Luca. You're absolutely right. Arsenal have to go and get the big players. I think if Isak is available around 100 million, I think Arsenal are all in on that, and certainly should be. But not at 150. Arsenal won't do that, and I don't think Liverpool will either. Their whole business model and their success, whether you call it success or not, but their whole model of transfers is all around not overpaying for players, or at least not significantly overpaying.
Liverpool being a bit of a mess next season, right? Because this season, no one expected Liverpool to go on and win the league. Hence why they knew how to win the league this year, because 5 of their players who won the Champions League in 2019, the Trents, the Robinsons, the Salahs and Van Dijks and Alissons, right? They've been there and done it, and that's why they've got experience. And they've had like pretty much not a dominant season, but majority they fully deserve to. But will Liverpool and FSG be ambitious? Will they want their owners out if Van Dijk and Salah do leave? Because if Arsenal do end up getting these sort of play, you've got to go for people like Alexander Isak. Then it's about getting the winger. Then it's about getting, with Saliba signing a new deal till 2027 or something like that. Then it's about him getting a long-term replacement. We're not going to look for a Saliba replacement anytime soon. Even if he does sign a contract with this Atletico Madrid director, the majority for us in the summer is to get a Saka back up, then go and get an Alexander Isak. Because I think also in the summer, I think we need a Martin Odegaard replacement for the long term.
I think we've got Odegaard replacement in Nwaneri. Yeah, Odegaard's 26 and Ethan Nwaneri's coming through. I don't think that's the issue. I agree with you, Luca, that you go out and you buy a stop striker. I don't think Arsenal or anyone is paying 150 mil for Alexander Isak.
No.
And that was the point I was making, that I think he stays, because I think if Newcastle have Champions League money, qualify for Champions League, I don't think Isak pushes to leave, and I don't think they need to sell, and therefore they can hold 150 mil, and that's where he stays. I think it becomes a conversation on Isak if they don't get those two things, and the price tag will then probably drop to near 100 million, because Newcastle will probably need to sell, and therefore the power goes to the buying club.
Bruno Guimaraes is available in the summer, but obviously the way he was smiling yesterday that he won the Carabao Cup, looks like he's going to be staying, because there was a rumour about a week ago, Arsenal Bruno Guimaraes could be available for 60 million if they don't qualify for the Champions League.
Yeah, I think if they don't qualify, I think that's true. But I think you can be happy to win a trophy, right, and still look to move on at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Particularly if they don't get Champions League.
Like, it's a similar situation to Declan Rice, isn't it? Because he won the Conference League, and the following summer we signed him for 100 million. So it can be possible because obviously West Ham that season did not have. They had a successful season, but they were fighting for relegation at the time. And obviously he was going to move on at some point because he was far too good to play for them. So he had to obviously either come to Arsenal or Man City, but he came to Arsenal instead because he knew he was going to be the main man. It's the same with Isak as well, because if he was going to come to Arsenal, he would definitely be the main man. Not to say he wouldn't be the main man in any other clubs in Europe, because you look at Liverpool, he's almost like if Salah was going to leave, he'll be his replacement. Barcelona, although they do have Yamal, they have Rafinha as well. I don't know. This situation would be interesting, you know. And obviously, if this was Edu or if this was Jason A2, then I don't think Newcastle would let him in. To be honest.
Well, but that's what we said earlier about this new director, this Berta guy, man.
Yeah.
Like if he gets the money, if he gets backed, then I'm confident with this Berta guy, man. That he'll get.
Yeah. He definitely has more clout about him than Jason A2, for instance, or an Edu. Right, and that's something that we needed in the boardroom. Right, we needed someone who's gonna pick up the phone and go, "Yo, this is Andre Berta. It ain't no Jason A2." Right, it sounds like really Jason Siegel or something. nothing like that. But
I think that's right. I think Edu did a decent job overall, but Edu was a director of football with limited reputation before he came, and Arsenal weren't in a great position when he was hired. Arsenal now are in a position where they can go out and get the best, and in some ways that's credit to Edu's work. But it's absolutely right that if as a player you're dealing with Andrea Berta, I suspect you feel slightly more comfortable than you and confident in things than you do with Edu, because you know he's got a 15-year reputation at Atletico, etc., right? And I think that's particularly true of Jason Ato. I didn't want Jason Ato before January transfer window. I certainly didn't want him afterwards. I think he's a really good number 2. But you know, in fairness to Arsenal, I also think that's about where they have come, right? 5 years ago, you're not in the conversation for Declan Rice. You're not in the conversation for, William Saliba as he is now, right? You're not in the conversation for Isak. You're having to go for those players that you hope will be something good. You know, Martin Odegaard, I think, has been a really good player for us. But let's be honest, it was a gamble because he hadn't exactly succeeded anywhere for a long time, right? And that's why someone like Andrea Berta is such an important appointment for Arsenal, because it's a statement that shows we want to go further and we want to go better. If we had appointed Jason Ato, I think that says you don't have any ambition and you have no desire to get better. Andrea Berta signals you want to get better, right? Doesn't mean it will work, because you never know until it starts, but it is a positive signal that the club want to go further, and you know this is where we are this season isn't good enough. It isn't what they want to do, and they want to make sure that they do better. Ato would have said the opposite if they'd hired him.
Yeah, definitely, mate, definitely. But yeah, I mean, where do we see Isak going in some of them? Like, is it Champions League?
I see him staying at Newcastle. I think
he stays.
I think they'll get Champions League at some point, or maybe 5th. I don't know, because 5th place could be up for grabs next season. So I can see them finishing 5th.
I think for me, Isak, I think he stays for Newcastle this year, and then I think next year, depending if that 5th spot does become the Champions League, because if Man United win the Europa League, doesn't 6 teams not get into the Champions League?
There's a world where something like 10 or 11 teams in Europe this year.
Something crazy.
I mean, that requires something ridiculous to happen.
Like madness. Like Aston Villa are going in the Champions League for that to happen, or something like that as well.
Or Arsenal, and then Arsenal have to drop out the top 5, or you know.
Yeah, it's something mad. Yeah, fifth place will be a Champions League spot this season for sure.
It should be for the coefficient, but that doesn't guarantee it every season. But I agree. I think Luca's logic here was going to be Isak stays this season, but if Newcastle don't continue to qualify for the Champions League, and let's be honest, they struggled last year when they were in Europe for the first time, sort of domestic and Europe. I think some of the success this year has come from the fact they've had another year of squad building, but also no European football, which has helped. And that's taken nothing away because I think they're a really good side, particularly their front 11. But I wonder if he becomes a conversation in summer of 2026 for a transfer more than 2025.
Possibly,
and he'll be another year less on his contract, which makes him cheaper. But he will also be another year older.
So I wanted to ask as well.
Sorry, Josh. I reckon he'd be on the 5:35 a.m. train from to Paddington.
Paddington.
That's class. I wanted to ask you guys. Obviously, if the worst comes to the worst, we can't get Isak. Who would be your one alternative as a striker instead of Isak?
For me, it has to be Gyökeres or Victor Osimhen. I don't want none of this Benjamin Sesko Project Youth stuff, right? Because he's just another guy, right? Like this Project Youth trust process finished a long time ago, and I don't want Sesko at nowhere near my football club because if he doesn't come Isak, I want Gyökeres. I want Victor.
Okay.
85 million pounds available, a lot cheaper than Isak. Go and get them. They are available. I still think Osimhen was available in the January transfer window. I really did. I think we could have at least done something. I think he was available around 50, 60 million in January. So I do think, I don't want this Dusan Vlahovic stuff. This isn't 2021. I know one stage. I know one stage say take in January because it's the best what you've got. But however, would Ollie Watkins be available? Yeah, but we look, Ollie Watkins would be all right, but
I still take Watkins in the summer.
Yeah, I would as well.
I don't know about you lot, but
I just feel like maybe January was the opportunity to get him, but the longer we keep it, I just feel like is Watkins the guy going to go on to win the league?
He's 29 as well.
Like Aubameyang got us to the FA Cup. Okay, we never got Champions League with Aubameyang, but
Aubameyang in his squad, I think would.
Yeah, and what age was Aubameyang when we signed him?
Was 29.
Yeah, 28. What age was Ian Wright when we signed him?
28.
28. There you go. Where do we sign him from? Crystal Palace.
Yeah, but is Ollie Watkins the answer to go on to win the league? Like, I like Ollie Watkins. I think that he's got a good.
Has he not?
Ian Wright led us to titles.
Yeah, but Arsenal needs someone like who's an aerial winner. Like, go and get Martinez from Inter Milan. But people might say, oh, he might be a flop. Oh, he might be a flop from playing in the Italian division. Like,
who has said that?
Yeah, how's he a flop?
Who has said that?
You never know. You never know. People might say that. But
I think you're right. Like Martinez has done really well in Italy, but we don't know what he does outside of Italy. I think he's probably going to be good enough, but there is that question mark over him, right? It's a question, not. It doesn't mean that comes true. Ollie Watkins, by the way, will be 30 later this year, so he's a little bit older.
Director knows Martinez, so therefore could be a possible likely transfer. Look, I think Sesko, as Mikel Arteta does, Sesko could be available. Darwin Núñez could be available. God, I don't want Núñez at my football club. I saw a source today, right? But I think it's fake anyway. But Núñez has been a target for Arsenal. And I think this would be typical Mikel Arteta, bringing someone like a Darwin Núñez, panic FC, right?
It's not going to be Darwin Núñez. That's absolute rubbish. That's an agent trying to drum up a market, right?
It is.
I really hope so, Dom.
I don't believe that for a second.
Google had a stinker, you know. They told me Ian Wright was 21 on Google.
Well, he was once, just not when he played for Arsenal.
Tom Red, I never said Haaland wasn't a flop. Get a clip up, and if I'm wrong, I apologise.
I think I think the player I want is Yorkeres, right? I think he's good on the ball. He links play well. He runs channels, and he's a big aerial presence in the box. I think Arsenal are going to go for a big aerial presence in the box striker. I think that's what Mikel Arteta likes. You know, would I be crying about Sesko? No, but he's not my first choice. I think it will be Sesko.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. But I think if Newcastle don't qualify for Champions League, then you go all in on Isak, obviously. But Yorkeres would be my pick. He's what 26, 27 now. I've been high on him since Coventry. That's the man I would go after. I don't touch Watkins. He's going to be 30 later this year. Osman, I'm happy with, but his wages. I mean, when Chelsea turn him down on wage grounds, you know his wage is going to be excessive. And you could say just pay it, but the problem you've then got is that ties you up a lot of money, and and then everyone else wants to sort of match it, and that causes you all sorts of issues. But I'm not against it. I just don't think Arsenal will do it for that reason. But Yorkeres is the man I go after, but I still think it'll be Sesko. I'm not upset at that, but it's not my first choice.
But why would Mikel Arteta believe in Sesko is like the answer? Why do we have to go for these young profile strikers? The guy's what, he's 22 years old, right? We're Arsenal Football Club. We're the third biggest club and we shouldn't be going for these sort of targets. Like, what does he see in Benjamin Sesko is going to come? It's like Timo signed for Tottenham. What's he done?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not worried by age, right? In terms of when they're young, I'm more worried when they're older. I think, if you think the level they're at now is good enough for Arsenal and you think they're going to grow, that's absolutely fine. But I agree with you. I think you go, particularly in the number 9, right? We've taken an age to sign a number 9. I got why we didn't in the summer. I always understood that why we didn't. I didn't necessarily want it, but I understood it. As I explained at the time. But I think if you've waited this long, you ideally want you've waited because you want the right number 9, and the right number 9 ideally is someone either in or just about to enter their prime, which for a striker is about 27, 28. If you've got a 24, 25-year-old that's sort of entering into that prime, Sesko probably has 6 years of growth, but there's no guarantee you get the growth to where you think he's going to go. But I think the reason he likes Sesko is because, rightly or wrongly, he fits the way Arsenal are looking to play now. But I think there's nothing wrong. Look, there's nothing wrong with tweaking the way you play if that number 9 is absolutely elite, right? And you just change the way. City did it with Haaland. They changed very much from the way they played under Aguero. Slightly less control, slightly more sort of, chaotic, if you like. But they did it because Haaland was that good. And I think that's something Arsenal need to look at. And I think Berta will challenge Arteta on that. And if they come to the decision that he's the right man, then in terms of Sesko, then fine. But I think that's a conversation Arsenal definitely should be having before they go to that number 9 and make sure they get it right, because it's crucial.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move obviously on to the game.
Oh, sorry, Josh. Who do you and Rory want? Who do you and Rory want?
Go on, Rory. You go first, because I think you said it earlier.
I said earlier. So obviously my dream is Isak. I think everyone on the panel would love Isak. Second is Gyökeres. Third is Osimhen. Fourth is David. And then it goes Ekitike at Frankfurt and Sesko.
I'm bringing David in as my Trossard replacement, just in case it hasn't been clear on the train that I've been on for about 9 months.
So, yeah, for me, obviously, apart from Isak, I put a name out there, Dom. I said it in the group chat as well, but I think it'd be more money as well in terms of...
I think I know who you are.
Alvarez, we spoke about him earlier, but I don't think that'll happen either because of the...
Alvarez is more of a centre attacking midfielder anyway.
I thought at first by the picture you meant João Felix. I was about to go absolutely mental, and suddenly someone said it was Alvarez. I was like, thank God for that.
I thought you about the Italian striker from Atalanta.
Oh, Lategui.
He scored like 24 goals, to be fair.
Lategui's cooking, to be fair, man. He's proper Premier Luca Ron, man. I'm telling you, we've called this guy... because this guy's from Argentina, right? He's born in Argentina. And he plays
another player as well. Another player that's cooking on gas in Serie A is Moise Kean.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but I'm not going there.
He is, but
I honestly don't mind him. I really don't. The guy
here's one-
comes to PSG, and yeah, he may not have cooked at Everton, but like again, that's Everton. You know what I'm saying? He was very like misprofiled.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird with these players, man. It's like Lookman as well. At Premier League, it didn't work in his first couple of years. But
Yeah, but it was
Serie A,
young.
he's cooking. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But now he's gone Serie A, and you know he's given the opportunity, and he's expressed himself. Now he's
That's
ready
the
to
guy
come
I
back.
want for a Trossard replacement. I don't really want Nico Williams. I don't really want Luis Diaz if he becomes available. I don't really want who's the other one? I've forgotten his name, but yeah,
I'm a big fan of forgotten his name. He's he's
Baller, mate.
2-footed,
Absolute
whips a
baller.
good ball. By the way, this was seriously put to me earlier. Would I sign Chris Wood? And I literally had to, put my water down before I spilt it with laughter. Although he's had a good season, but
Yeah, it's these players have these decent. Like Chris Wood this season's on fire, right? It's
Oscar
like
Menyo
with,
is the other one.
It's
Yeah,
like
that's
with
what I'm thinking of.
Solanke at Bournemouth as well, right? How many goals
Yeah.
he scored that season?
don't
Is
buy
that
a
top-
player off one good season.
Yeah, it's like with Tony. Like as much as I rate Tony, because not his goal scoring ability, I rate him overall as like his hold up play and he's very physical as a striker. That's why I wanted him at Arsenal. But even he scored like was it 20 plus goals in that one season? Solanke did it. Chris was doing it now. It's like there's this thing with these strikers.
Tony's Premier League record, if you take out penalties, and of course all penalties count, is 1 in 7.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go.
I think it was 1.6 something, but it was, if you round to the nearest one, it was 1 in 7 because I did the maths. I like maths.
Yeah, the other left winger that I wanted as well as I think Lookman is Semenyo. I think those are the only two I'm willing to take at Arsenal.
Yeah,
I think Semenyo's been balling out and Lookman's been superb. Obviously, my dream is Rafinha. Like I've been on his case for a while now.
Rafinha's quality.
Yeah, I wanted.
He's on par with the Ballon d'Or like next year, which is just unreal. In fact, no, it's this year, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, he's on par to win the Ballon d'Or this year. Top three to win the Ballon d'Or this year.
Do you think we could have got him in? Was it the summer?
Yeah, and I said go and get the guy.
He very clearly wanted to stay in the summer. I remember talking about it at the side.
This summer.
I did too, and there were a lot of links, whether they're true or not, you can never tell. But Rafinha was very, very clear he wanted to stay in Barcelona this year, and in fairness to him, it's worked out really well.
There's rumours about a possible swap deal with him and Nketiah. Remember that?
Yeah. That would have been deal of the century, wouldn't it? It's a deal, it's a steal, it's a sale of the what century? Because I love that quote from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, which is probably before your time, but hopefully you've all seen it.
I think Luca has for sure, man.
He smiled enough to say he's seen it.
Luca, you've seen it. You've
seen what? Seen what?
Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Oh
yeah. He says yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, for me, I'm probably on a similar boat with you guys with a few names you've mentioned already. Gyökeres, I would love. Osimhen, I love. Lucas said about Natoro.
Yeah,
I think he's so loyal to Inter. I just don't see him leaving Inter, but it'd be brilliant.
I'm gonna have to alter my list again, you know.
Yeah, Rory's got like a fucking full list, mate.
Rory's moving Chris Wood up 5. He's like, I forgot about him.
Yeah, so Isak, Gyökeres, Osimhen, Martinez, Osimhen, David, Ekitike, Sesko, and that is
I don't want David as a number 9.
David, not for me, Jonathan David.
Oh come on! Do you want to take Jonathan David, Luca?
Not for me.
What? Wait, and he'll be on a free, won't he, Dom, in the summer?
Yeah, free transfer. Look how many goals he scored in the Champions League.
If he's a free transfer, fair enough. But this guy is an all-right player, but he ain't going to get you the league.
Okay.
I agree. Look, let me do my Jonathan David. Jonathan David, for me, has consistently improved his goal-scoring record year on year. He scored in the Champions League. He presses well. He can play 10, 9 left wing and a push right wing. He's a good passer, but what I think he is, you bring Jonathan David in not to be your number 9. You bring Jonathan David in to be a squad player on a free transfer. I think that is an excellent piece of business, but you don't bring him in to start, right? You bring him in and then you bring in a couple of others, right? Which is why I think he's sell Trossard, bring in David, and then you look to get another winger and another striker on top of him, because I think that's good business. But if he's your number 9, I think that's a disappointing transfer, right? But I'm a big Jonathan David.
Right? So to be fair, like in the last 5 seasons, 13 goals, 15, 24, 19 and 14 so far this season.
No, he
scored 9 in the Champions League and assisted 4 times.
He always goes and does his thing in I don't know, people say it's only the French league and all this. People use Pepe did really well, what we did at Arsenal and all that, but
no, he did do well at Arsenal.
No, he did. No, but I agree. Mate, I would love Pepe right now. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, so would I.
I would love him right now if we could. That guy's a baller for me.
Pepe gets more abuse than he deserves for his time at Arsenal.
100%.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
I think that's because of his price tag.
Yeah, and that's not his fault, right?
Facts.
He didn't choose it. But
Gabriel we signed from Lille as well.
Yeah, we did.
But I agree with Luca from the point of view, if Jonathan David is your number 9 and you'd offer nothing else, I think that's a bit underwhelming. But I bring in Jonathan David, particularly on a free, all day long.
But he can play number 9 though, and
he can, yeah.
Goals.
Yeah. That's why I bring him in and number 9 and another winger, and you can move Trossard on, who I think.
Who would you sign? Who would you sign, Dom, as your winger?
I don't know. It's my one sort of undecided when I'm looking at what would I do in the summer.
Yeah,
it depends on what day it is. Yeah, I'm really undecided because I really want a lights out left winger, but there aren't necessarily that many that I think would be either would be the one I really want, and that's my difficulty. It really is. So I really don't know, but I think the sort of names that you mentioned, Rory, are sort of I think it was you, it might have been Luca, but one of you said I think they're the right sort of names you're looking at. To be honest with you, I'm not against Nico Williams, but he's inconsistent. He sort of goes back to what Luke was mentioning about if you bring him and Sesko in, I think you're bringing in 2 raw players. So I think if you bring in Isak, I think you can bring in Williams, or Gyökeres, I think you can bring in Williams. But I think Sesko and Williams, while looks good on paper, I think that's 2 very raw attackers to bring in at once, and that would be a concern. Given where we were 3 years ago, absolutely fine, because you're not expecting to be competing. We are now competing and we should be winning. And therefore, I don't think you can bring in both. So I think in some ways it matters who the number 9 is. And I think you do your 9 before your winger.
Yeah. I mean, what you said, no, you were going to say something, Luca.
Yeah, go on.
No,
we didn't hear what you said. I think he was asking you to repeat it.
What, me?
You.
Yeah. He's about to reply to Dom and I cut in front of him. Sorry, man.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, but no, look, I think for me, look, if we would have bought Sesko and another striker in, then fair enough, I would be all right with it. But do you feel like we need 2 strikers if we don't think that Sesko is not the answer then?
No, I think it will be 1 striker. I think the only way you bring in 2 strikers if you count Jonathan David as a striker, but I would sort of bring him in as a squad player to play sort of anywhere along the front line. It will be 1 striker, and I think you get the striker done first because I think that dictates what you do on the winger market a little bit more.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if we got Sesko again, I said it earlier, role player. If we got him, but we got every other position, and we spent the money on proper like winners, on another midfielder, like what we actually needed as well. I wouldn't mind that, to be honest.
But the thing is, the striker's like the focal point now.
Yeah, I
you
hear
need that proper number 9, and then you have, other casuals around that striker.
I agree to a point, but I think if you look at Arsenal last season, we were top scorers, right? And the goals were spread around. So I think if you had Sesko, and I don't think, like we all said, it's not our number 1 target. He's number 4 on most of our lists at best, if not lower. But you then did to Josh's point, I'm just doing this off the top of my head, say Zubimendi, Eze, Diamande or Silva as a defender, some random backup goalkeeper. It'll be Juan Garcia, won't it?
Garcia,
So okay, say it's Garcia, Silva, Zubamendi, Eze, Semenyo, Jonathan David on a free, and Sesko. You're looking at a quality.
Yeah.
You can sort of live with that. But I think if you then said, right, well, it's going to be, say, just Jonathan David as your winger, you're not getting another one in, and then you go, then I don't think Sesko's enough, right, on his own. So, but I don't think Arsenal necessarily need a number 9 to score 30 goals because we share the goals around, whereas Manchester City, it's, and I'm being oversimplistic here, this is not entirely fair, Haaland scores most of their goals, right? We don't necessarily do that. We do spread the goals around a little bit more than say City, but so I don't necessarily think you have to get the top number 9. But what you do need is a sort of clinical number 9 that links up the play and causes defenders. We were playing a low block, right? You need a striker that can occupy the defenders to create the space for Odegaard, Saka, the left winger, let's call it Martinelli, a runner from midfield, Declan Rice, Eze, whatever, creates them the space because the defenders are occupied by your number 9. Even if they don't score, that's kind of what Arsenal are seeking to do. It's just not quite working at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, let's move on to obviously. I did it a bit back to front today. I said at the start, Dom. We spoke about this first, get us out of the way, and then we'll talk about the game on Sunday. I know you should talk about the game first, but let's move to the game. 1-0 against Chelsea. I know we probably don't want to because it was one of those games, weren't it, man? Listen, for me, I thought that first 20, maybe 30 minutes, we dominated them, man. They offered nothing. We controlled the game. We had some big chances as well. I honestly think we could have killed the game off in that first 20, 30 minutes. We had some, big chances. That Sanchez looked like an absolute bozo for them. I think there was a bit of a call about maybe handball from Cucurella. Fofana maybe should have got sent off. There's quite a few controversy even in that first half. But we did get the goal. Set piece FC's back, finally. Nicolas Jover's alive. And Merino's a new number 9 with another goal, people,
Do you know, Josh, I saw a stat today. Only Haaland and Marmoush have scored more goals since Merino became the number 9 in the Premier League.
No, what?
Since Merino became our number 9, they're the only 2 strikers.
There might have
been a third, which might have been Chris Wood.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it, which is mental.
I mean, what? He scored,
I think he's 4 and 7 now. Yeah, 4 and 7. And in that period, certainly 2, there might have been a third, because I think they sort of correct themselves later and added Chris Wood, but I may be mistaken. But either way, that's mental, right? Because Mikel Merino is not a striker.
Yeah. He's also scored more goals than Palmer this year.
Yes.
You mean Cole Palmer, not me, right?
Cole
Because I don't do scoring goals, I stop them. And by the way, as I talk to you, I've got blood dripping down my legs into my shin pad that I'm still wearing because I didn't have time to take them off.
Oh, that's a dedication right there, people. Yeah, he's still got his shin pads on from tonight.
Yeah, I'm a full kit banker. I have to wear shin pads on a Monday. I don't wear them on a Friday.
Oh my
god. But yeah, I mean, look, listen. What 1-0 to Arsenal? Funny enough, George Graham was there, weren't he, at the game?
Yeah, now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Ozil was there as well.
Ozil was there. George Graham was there.
The paper envelope was there.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, thanks. That's true, though. But I'll tell you what.
Allegedly, obviously.
Yeah, I'll come to you first, Luca, mate. That 1-0 game against Chelsea, what do you make of it overall, bro?
I think for me, look, I said in my match reaction straight after the game, I said, look, I think the performance, the first half an hour, 35 minutes, I thought we dominated very well against Chelsea, majority. Great assist from Martin Odegaard to Mikel Merino. Merino doing what he had to do. But regardless to that, I think the second half was just flat. I think I remember, Rory, I saw your tweet saying about 2 hours before you could have gone to sleep. But regardless to that, look, the second half was just poor. I really do. I do think Arsenal really struggled to score more goals. The only best chance Chelsea really had was that Cucurella chance from David Raya. I don't think Raya didn't play well yesterday. I gave him a 6 in my ratings.
Who, Raya?
Yeah, a 6 I think I gave him yesterday. But
Didn't really have a whole lot to do though, did he?
no, he didn't. But really should have really got away with it with the situation from that.
Yeah, he got away with that one. Yeah.
But we're playing against a Chelsea side that will have lost confidence. That when the lineup came out before both teams, looking at Chelsea's defence, Fofana and Batshuayi in defence, I'm thinking that's the worst centre backs where Chelsea have not replaced Thiago Silva, Rudiger, all these sort of players, John Terry, and majority of that, I just felt like,
despite spending £1 billion.
yeah, they spent 1.5 million. 1.5 million they have spent, and they finished like mid-table. They might still get top 4. I don't think they will get top 4 because obviously the lack of consistency they have in the team. Yes, they've got Jackson coming back as a plan B option, but Chelsea, this squad is just so inconsistent. It's like Chelsea sent out Diassi on loan. Okay, yeah, he's had a better season under Unai Emery, but they haven't replaced it. The goalkeeper's so bad, right? His distribution's so
Which
bad.
one? They keep switching him.
They keep switching him. Like Chelsea haven't replaced Kepa. They haven't replaced Courtois. They haven't replaced these sort of keepers. And
They replaced Petr Cech, mate.
yeah, they haven't replaced Petr Cech. And this is the problem. Chelsea need to fix up. They need to do what Liverpool did and need to do what Arsenal did. Arsenal have got Saliba, Gabriel and Raya. Liverpool have got Virgil van Dijk, Konate, Alisson. Chelsea need to do exactly the same thing. Because do you think Chelsea exactly are in a transition season? Again, I know they have improved, right? And they were second at one point, right? And then they completely capitulate over the Christmas, losing to teams like Ipswich. But will Chelsea ever get back in a title race with us? Not for a very long time. Not with this ownership in charge, because they've got so many players that are given 8-9 year contracts. Right? You like what sort of a runnable club is that for Chelsea?
No, I agree, mate. I agree.
They have to sell players to comply with FFP, right?
They have to. Like you're giving Cole Palmer your best man, right? And what Enzo come out in the minute and said, I'm not going to say what he said, but however, what he come out and said about Cole Palmer, like giving him a 9-year contract is a bit over the top. Like I understand, yeah, would Palmer have made a difference into the game yesterday? He might have done, he might have not. But majority of that, Chelsea was just so bad. And the performance first half an hour, as I said, Arsenal were good, and the second half was just flat. I thought Trossard was poor. Like, we need to get rid of Trossard. Like, I know Trossard is better when he comes off the bench, but the more it goes on, the more his performances, I think he needs to be sold. If a Saudi club comes in for 40, 50 mil, you come in. You keep Martinelli for another season. Martinelli was all right yesterday, despite he came off with a precaution yesterday. And look, we got the win. It's just a free hit, isn't it? It's just a free season. And we move on to the next. We've got, I think it's Fulham after the international break. And we've got that big game in the Champions League. Positive today, Bukayo Saka could be back for Fulham on the bench. Ahead of schedule. There were sources on Twitter. The journalist reported it. I don't know who it was, but I saw it on Twitter. AFC someone, I think it was. And if Saka's back, I don't want Saka to play in that Real Madrid game.
Why?
Because the priority, he could end up turning into Michael Owen again.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, but like
he might not. But however, you don't want to ruin players. Because remember the period where Mikel Arteta brought Thomas Partey back in the lockdown game against Tottenham at White Hart Lane on December the 5th, 2020. Right? Was that
the 2-0 defeat?
Yeah, the 2-0 defeat in the pandemic season. Right?
The problem is, right, the problem I will have with Saka's return is if we play him in like 5 or 6 games in a row, right? If you put him on the bench against Fulham and then against Everton, that is managing Saka well. And then you start him against Real Madrid and then you continue that process, right? You bench him for a couple games in the Premier League because the Premier League's out of sight, but in the Champions League, that's when you actually play him, right?
I
So
think
that
the
is
decision-
managing a player well.
Yeah, but do you think
Like,
Mikel Arteta,
that's the
when
problem
you
I'll have.
were playing well, do you think Mikel Arteta was rushing Bukayo Saka back? Because
It's not going to be rushing him back though. Like if he
Do you
comes
think
back to Real Madrid,
do you think Rory? Do you think he Arteta has managed him well though? Like playing him in the cup, like
no,
Carabao Cup.
I'm not saying he has not managed him well, but I'm saying like if he does come back, I'll only have a problem if he was going to come straight back into the starting 11 against Fulham and then against Everton. Right, but if he was benched for them 2 games but started against Real Madrid, then that's when I won't have a problem because that's our biggest game of the season and you need your best player.
The model has to be what we've done with Ben White and Gabby Martinelli, right, in the last few weeks, which are they've come back, they've been on the bench, they played 5, 10, 20 minutes, whatever it is, done that 2 or 3 times, then they started the game, come off. But I think a lot of this will also be on the medical advice, right? What you don't do is with Bukayo Saka, where the medical go always. It was a real. I mean, there's always a risk of injury in every game, but there's a significant risk he ruptures injury. Does a hamstring again in this game. At that point, you don't play him at all against Real Madrid. If the doctors say he's good to go and he's been sort of eased back in, he's had 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, then I think you can start him. But I think it's too early to say whether he's going to start or not because till he comes back and starts playing real contact training and then into matches, you're just not going to know. But I think. Yeah, go on. Sorry,
No,
Josh. I interrupted you earlier because it was lagging, and I've done it again.
No, you're good, man. I was going to quickly say, like, even when I saw Ben White, he came back against who was it? PSV.
West Ham.
Was it West Ham?
Yeah, when he started against PSV, having had a couple of
PSV, and even when I looked at Ben White, I think, this guy looks a bit rusty. So I feel like that'd be very similar to Saka.
Yeah, but I think with a player like Saka, right? I think if you had everyone available up, that was fit, you probably can risk not starting Saka against Real Madrid. But I think if he's fit, I think you probably risk a rusty Saka. If he's had some minutes beforehand, it's a bit like Martinelli. I've actually been quite encouraged with him since he came back because he's looked relatively sharp, particularly given I know he's not had as long out as Saka, but he has been out for a bit. Saka I expect to be rustier, but it will all depend on where he's at with that. And I think Luca and Rory are both right, which is, and they both said the opposite thing, ironically, but they're both right. Because if he's in doubt, Luca's, if there's an injury concern, Luca's absolutely right. You don't start him against Real Madrid, even though it's the biggest game. If he looks like he's fit and he's had some minutes, then Rory's absolutely right. It is the biggest game, and therefore you risk Saka, but only if the medical advice is what it is. And the medical advice will never be 100%. We saw it with Ben White, right? There's no way Arteta wasn't told in the summer that White didn't need an operation, otherwise you do it then. And clearly that was incorrect.
Good. Don, what do you make of, just quickly, on the Chelsea game and that result, man? 1-0 to Arsenal, bro.
I had a lovely nap second half. Great.
Brutal, man.
It was exactly as you sort of expected this period to go, right? It was a dull game. I think Arsenal dominated it defensively. I think Chelsea could have gone for another 5 hours and not scored. I really do. As Lucas said, the only chance came when Raya spilt that Kukurea shot, for want of a better word. Luca is again right that Raya didn't have a great game, but it's difficult to say whether he had a good game or not because apart from that, he didn't really have anything to do. And that's the one memorable moment. But Arsenal controlled the game, but again, it was very attritional. Didn't create a lot ourselves. I mean, we definitely created the better chances. Trossard had a few. Moreno, obviously got his goal, which was a nice header. But we got the job done, and we never looked like losing. I genuinely wasn't concerned at any point we were losing that game, to be honest. But you could sort of tell we need those attackers back. We need, to get the options coming back off the bench, which is starting to come back now. But it's my big criticism of Arsenal comes out again. We need to move the ball quicker, more consistently. When we did it in the first 20 minutes, Chelsea were really struggling. But we need to do that more often, and that's my big criticism of Arsenal this season. You know, if there's one thing I'm really, really cross about, well, two. One is January, when I think we could have spent up to £50 million and got a decent player in, even if it wasn't what we wanted. And the second one, and this is the one I put on Arteta, which is you're not moving the ball quickly enough, and we're too conservative. I get why, because our defence is our strength, and we're struggling. So you fall back onto what you think you're best at, but actually, we're not going to break down the low block playing slow football. Right, you have to move the ball quicker. You know, and as I say, that was a big thing that was missing. We did it for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and that was it. But 3 points got the job done, and I think that's enough for top four, which is obviously not what we want at the start of the season, but is important.
Just before I move to Rory, I think there's a question for Tom. We got MC words every single time. But so how long you give this manager? Seriously, he's 4 years away from Wenger's. What's that? Wenger's 9.5 year trophy drought.
Yeah, let me just tell you something, Don. Right, you're always going to get asked this question until
I got asked it last week and the week before, and I think, well, I mean, I can answer it, right? Which is, you know, my view, and I said this at the start of the season, was if we didn't win anything this season, then I think Arteta had to go. I have moved slightly on that because I think this season has been slightly. I did not see the injury situation happening where we are, and I've got a video out tomorrow on this which sort of breaks it down, so I won't go into too much detail. But I think even if we have an injury situation like this next year, and I think it's been a bit of a freak, and it is really a freak when I look at the details, and it's hit a lot of clubs this season. It's not just us. Spurs have been badly hit, Man United have been badly hit, Man City have been badly hit, others have been badly hit. The two that have been least hit are the two sides that are probably overachieving the most this season, which are Forest and Liverpool. And some of that you probably have to say for Forest, it's lack of games. They've got less games and a bit of luck. Liverpool, they've managed to squad well, but again, it's a bit of luck. You always need that bit of luck. But I think if you have that 2 seasons running, then something's wrong at the club. And at that point, Mikel Arteta has gone too far. So that's the reason I sort of changed my mind and give him that 1 more year. But I think had we had what I would call a normal injury, because injuries happen, right? You've got to deal with injuries, but to a normal level, then I think you'd have to be saying he's got to go at the end of the season. So he basically has 1 more season, because I don't think you can have 2 years of bad luck and not sort of say something's wrong. But you can have 1 year. We saw it with Pep this year. We've seen it with Klopp a couple of years ago, where Liverpool dropped to 5th. When they were hit, but he's certainly sort of on the hot seat, to use the NFL sort of term. Definitely, and that's the same answer I gave last week, and that's the reason why I changed my mind. Was those circumstances have genuinely changed my mind on it. And people might not like it, but that's my view.
That's understandable, man. It's good, because I mean, no matter how we view this way, like, and I know Luca's completely opposite to you, Dom, right? He can't stand the manager, yeah. But no matter, like, if you think he's in or out, I mean, we all can agree that he's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. No, he's not going. He's not going to be. And that whether we like it or not, that's not going to happen. And therefore, we might as well back this manager for the next 12 months because he's going to be here for that. And we're better united than we are divided, to sort of use a cliche. But I think he is definitely. He has to be on the hot seat next year, regardless, because you can't go that long. We needed fundamentally ripping down and starting again. That's happened, and this should be the year we won something. No question about that. And it's incredibly disappointing, really disappointing. And there's things I think are unfortunate. There are things I think, as I always say, that are things we got wrong, just as Pep has this year, right? But we have to fix them, and that's why he has 12 months. But he doesn't have longer than that. I wouldn't give him the full contract to win something. This was his win contract, and he has to win. But I don't think he gets the entirety of that contract to win, which is what, another 2-3 years to run. I don't think he should have all that time to win something.
Yeah, I agree. For people saying I'm ignoring them in the chat, I'm not ignoring anyone. I'm literally answering. I put a question up because we've been asked a question, and I was gonna answer your guys' chats in a minute. So people saying I'm ignoring people in the chat. I'm not ignoring anyone. Yeah, I pinned everyone's comments up, so that's down to you. But yeah, anyway, Rory, let me come to you, man, on the Chelsea game, bro. Obviously, we was doing the watch on together. Yeah, it was good to watch them, but obviously the game, especially in the second half, man. I think Dom
Yeah.
rightly said it as well. It's snooze fest settings, I think.
I was on the I was on my phone for the most part, to be honest, in the second half. Yeah, probably one of the worst London derbies I've ever had to sit through, to be honest with you. I mean, considering that is a London derby and the way the two teams went through emotions there in 90 minutes is quite laughable. I mean, Josh, like we've witnessed Alexis versus Hazard. The other day, we witnessed Merino and Neto. Yeah.
Me, mate, come on. My double gunner.
But like you know where I'm coming from. Like obviously the elders have witnessed the likes of Henry and Drogba, or Zola and Bergkamp.
In fairness, I also sat through Arsenal v Wimbledon back in the day, which wasn't, great.
But yeah, I mean Chelsea were awful and are awful in general. They barely laid a glove on us, to be honest with you, and it was an easy afternoon, if you ask me. So yeah, what can I say? In terms of the players, I mean, I think Timber was man of the match. Outstanding game from him. I think Saliba and Gabriel was solid at the back. Partey had a solid game in there. Merino, I thought up to the point, well, after the goal, sorry, got the goal, but he's not very good technically, is he? But I don't blame him because, like, he's doing his best up front, isn't he? Like, he can't really do a whole lot, can he? Apart from, be that focal point in the 18-yard box. Almost like our Giroud type. So, I think Merino had an average game up to the point he actually scored. Trossard had a poor game. I thought Martinelli looked dangerous at times. But, yeah, overall, it was just a ball fest, to be honest, especially in that second half. But some individuals obviously stood out. I think Timber has never failed to put in less than an 8 out of 10 every week. I mean, I don't look at him this season, considering he has come back from an ACL and he's not looked out of place whatsoever. And he's kept Ben White out of the team for a while. I know he's been out injured, but like even before his injury, Timber was playing ahead of him at right back when he was fit. And he's managed to keep a consistent level throughout this whole season.
Dude, Rory, do you think, or just on Timber, because you made a great point, I wanted to mention him as well today, right?
Yeah.
I think he's one of Arteta's best signings, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I think him, Gabriel, Rice is obviously up there, Erdegaard. Who else can you put in?
Raya.
Yeah, Raya's another one. Yeah, I think Timber is up there. 34 million is a steal. And I knew he was good, but I didn't think he was that good. I think he's one of the best right backs in the league so far this season.
I was going to say, we were joking about this earlier on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I feel for Ben White.
Yeah. Along with Ola Aina at Forest, I think he's
Yeah.
been one of the best right backs in the league so far this season. I mean, there's not been one game where I look at him and go, like, you've been the worst player on the pitch, mate.
No.
Like, obviously, there's been games like the Newcastle one away from home in the Carabao Cup, but like everyone was shocking that day. There's not been one game where you go, yeah, he's worst player on the pitch, isn't he? Obviously, Saliba and Gabriel. I thought Saliba was actually quite shaky in the first half, but second half he was solid. Gabriel as well. Roy, I mean, I can't lie. That moment, probably Chelsea's best chance of the game.
It was their only chance, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, they only had
one other shot on there.
Yeah, they had like 2 shots on target that entire game, and both, well, one of them was straight at Raya, and the other, well, nearly went underneath Raya as well.
Yeah,
So,
that was mad.
yeah, I mean, like, would it have been a different game if Saka and Palmer were playing? I don't know, but considering Chelsea have spent £1 billion on that and they look utter toothless, I think it's more embarrassing for them than for Arsenal.
I think it's how far they are away from winning, having spent that much. It's
Yeah. I mean, you look at their back four. I mean, fucking Badia Shield, Cole Will. Like, I don't understand the hype around him. He is so overrated. And then James is decent. Kukurea, okay, they've done well with their fullbacks. Their goalkeeper, don't even get me fucking started with that bozo goal. He couldn't catch a cold from a cross.
He reminds me of Wigan El Hadsby.
I ain't got a clue who that is.
Who's that?
No, you don't know who that is? Wigan Athletic El Hadsby.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah, that was
Dom knows him.
that's not how you pronounce his name, but I can't remember how you do. But I know exactly who you mean. Yeah, him. I know exactly who you mean.
2010, Josh.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. I was going to say 2009, but yeah, I'll bow to you on that one, Luca. That's period, yeah. Him.
Luca, me and Roy were 2 years old, mate. We're not going to remember.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I mean, the irony is they will actually win a trophy this season, or they should, because they should win the Conference League.
Conference League, yeah.
But I reckon we could put our under 23s out in the Conference League and make at least quarters. I mean, you know, and I'm not joking, right? I mean, seriously, it's a shocking competition.
If they win the Conference League and they get top four, but we don't win anything this season, majority they've had a better season.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think you have to go on where their expectations were, right? Their expectations would be top four and a trophy. They've met it. Our expectations were to at least win a trophy. We haven't.
If they get top four, win a trophy.
Title race though, early on in the season.
Yeah, but they were running hot. You know, if they finish, Lucas right, if they finish top four and win a trophy and win the Conference League,
sort of like remind you of like a Wenger season where we won the FA Cup and got top four one stage. Does that kind of like remind you of Enzo?
Not really, because you expect like anyone can win that competition.
Well, yeah.
Like, if you're like a club like Chelsea who have won a lot of silverware in Europe recently, and you know, like even West Ham won that competition.
I was going to say West Ham.
I mean, like, come on, look at the amount of shit that is in that competition.
They should
I agree, Luca. They should scrap it. Yeah, I mean, West Ham won it with Declan Rice basically playing by himself.
What, you guys think they should scrap the Conference League?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
But what about the other teams that like benefit from it, like the smaller teams? Do you not think it's good for them?
Well, don't put the top 6 teams in it then. Majority just don't put them in it.
Yeah, I hear that.
I also think if you don't, I think Europa League got spoilt by moving the Champions League teams that finished third in their group down.
Yeah.
You know, I think so. I think the Europa League is now a better competition, and therefore you don't necessarily, you know, need the Conference League, because while the smaller teams probably don't win the Europa League, they can probably go a lot further, right? I get why the Conference League was brought in, but you know, the English side should win it. You know, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5 years.
If you have teams like Bournemouth and that coming in, they will take Conference League, because these sort of teams have never been in Europe before. Bournemouth have never ever been in Europe. They used to be a League One club, right, and a League Two club, and majority of that teams like that, if they end up finishing in the Conference League, they would be happy with that. Even Fulham have been in Europa League final before and lost to Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, Fulham.
That was under Roy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was option.
I think Wigan was in Europa League because they won the FA Cup as well.
They
They played Championship that same season, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah.
In the Europa League one stage.
Mad.
Steve McLaren's Borough were.
Yeah, they were.
Crazy.
I wonder. I can't remember if he bought his umbrella though.
And they lost to Croatia. Scott Carlton.
Was it? Who? Which one was Paul Robinson when he? I thought Steve McLaren was.
Paul Robinson made the mistake when England played in Zagreb. I think it was leading up to the 2008 qualifiers.
Yeah, I thought that was Steve McLaren, but was it?
We lost at Wembley.
Yeah.
3-2. Nico Cranchire scored.
Yeah.
And of course, Scott Carson made an absolute error mistake.
Yeah, in my head that was Paul Robinson, but I think you're right.
And then Peter Crouch made it 2-2, and then Croatia made it 3rd. I think I can't remember who the goal scorer was, but it was 3-2. And then England failed to qualify because they needed someone like Andorra to draw the game or something.
Mats Andorra. Jeez.
What's saying about Caicedo's interview then?
Oh yeah,
That's probably the highlight of the game, to be honest.
That Caicedo man that interview was crazy. I mean, I think you said it in the group chat the other day. Like 7 of those players, right? No, 7 years ago, we had none of those players. We had Wenger as manager.
I think it was Tom that put it in earlier, wasn't it? And, only MLS was at the club, and he was 11.
Yeah, he was a little kid.
Nah, I think Lewis Kelly was 12 and Waneri was 11.
Oh my days, man.
How old was Saka back then? I think he was 16. He was still in secondary school, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But don't worry, the team's been together for 7 years, just at many different clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Koscielny and Mustafi was our centre-back pairing 7 years.
My days.
Rob Holding.
We still had Jack Wilshere as the team as well, man.
Yeah, Rob Holding, Callum Chambers, Petr Cech. What a team.
One of my worst ever Arsenal takes was Callum Chambers will be an England centre-back for years to come. Worst ever takes.
I tell you something, no, Dom, but like in his first season, I swear he was a baller, mate.
It was a very popular opinion at the time.
He was doing well in his first couple of seasons at Arsenal.
Not couple, but he had a decent 6-7 months. Yeah,
hundreds.
And he also.
And that's one of my worst ever takes.
He also like they were like the better team or something when they had 8 touches in our box the whole time.
Yeah,
they had more possession than us.
But I mean, unless it was comedy defending, they by no metric were they the better team at the weekend. And how Fofana stayed on the pitch is beyond me.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's just baffling.
He did receive racism after the game. To be fair,
yeah, which by the way is not.
What did everybody think about the Cucurella Timber situation?
Say again.
The penalty.
Yeah, the handball. You mean
the handball on the line?
I mean, after watching it back, I think it would have been harsh, you know.
I think Cucurella got it right.
Huh?
I think Mark Cucurella got it right for Chelsea. I think he definitely got it right. I think he won the challenge.
Well, so do you think it was handball?
No, but I think he won the challenge.
He won the... No, he didn't.
Timber got it wrong.
How?
Because the ball was going out of play.
No, but Timber didn't even touch it.
Yeah, there was no foul on Cucurella, but I think if that's a handball, I'd be fuming as a defender if I had that as a handball against me. Absolutely fuming.
Yeah. If it was given, it would be pretty harsh, I think. But Josh, quite big up Gunnar Gathering, by the way. Make sure you guys go and sub to Gunnar Gathering's channel. Dom's over there quite a bit as well. I think you're like a co-host, right, for them?
I don't think so. Maybe. But yeah, I enjoy going over there. It's lovely chatting with Lee and the guys.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, a question from.
I hosted one the other day because I hadn't been on the source.
big up Sam, by the way. Are you streaming? Yeah, I will be, man. I will be doing that tomorrow. Big game for my ladies against Real Madrid as well. They're playing away, so I'll be live for that tomorrow. It's early kickoff, 5:45, so I'll be 5 o'clock, and then I'll probably do a reaction after the game as well, man. Because I'm actually really enjoying watching them play instead of our men's right now. To be honest. So yeah, big up the women, man, and it's gonna be a big game tomorrow. So I will be live for that one, man. But yeah, I think as we were saying, the handball, right? It would have been harsh if it was given.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
in real time, it looked like a handball. It looked like he swept the ball away with his hand.
Yeah.
But to be fair, his hand was by his side, and there's no way he would have controlled the direction of where his.
No, it was a natural sort of movement of the arm in my view, which is why I would have been fuming if I'd given that away as a defender. But I could have, if a ref had given that in real time, you could see how they would have given it. But for me, it wasn't a penalty. Bit like the one I conceded tonight was not a penalty. Just, I'm still smarting about it now.
Was that handball as well?
No, it was given for it was given because apparently in the rules tonight you're not allowed to slide tackle, so it was a penalty.
Right?
So I won the ball clean as a whistle. Ref went, "That's a great tackle, but you can't slide tackle. It's a penalty." I was like, "What?"
Really?
Yeah, I was like, their strikers looking around, going, "How's that a penalty?" I was like, I genuinely no idea. He was like, and he literally the first thing he said to me was, "I'd scored all day long. That's a great tackle." I was like, "Oh, thanks, yeah." But yeah. Next thing we know, whistle goes. Well, I was given the corner, and he's like, "Rest goes penalty." What?
Tamina, keep dreaming, man. Keep dreaming.
Tamina, big up
Keep
Tamina.
dreaming. Hato's a good player, but
I'll take Hato, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take Hato as well. I think he's a decent.
Camavinga, I love Camavinga as well.
Camavinga will be quality.
Camavinga's quality, mate. Like,
Yeah.
Apparently, he's available.
You
If he's
made a
available.
good point, Luca, about De Jong the other day.
De Jong, yeah, Frankie De Jong.
Frankie De Jong, yeah.
No,
But I think the wages is way too high. I think it's like
Well,
20.
no, he's too injury prone as
Never
well.
fit.
Camavinga's available this summer. I heard something that he's available this summer.
Who? Camavinga?
Camavinga, yeah.
Look,
What?
available.
Would you if we assume Zubimendi's done, and that is not a done deal, but let's just for the argument for the purpose of this say Zubimendi is done. Do you want a Camavinga type, or do you want a different profile of midfielder if we were to bring in two centre midfielders?
Replacement, like yesterday when Josh came on my reaction, he said Zubimendi's not Thomas Partey replacement. Remember, Josh?
Not in my opinion. I don't think there's that many out there realistic that are better than Thomas Partey right now.
No.
When a fully fit Partey in our team, I think he's one of Arsenal's most important players.
Yeah.
And I don't think when you look out there right now, there's that many replacements.
Yeah, I agree.
Like people talk about over the years, Partey injuries. Ever since he come back,
Yeah, but he stayed fully fit this season. He's not had a problem.
He has stayed fully fit, Josh. But ever since he come back from that Luton match at the Emirates last year, right, he's been carrying us, right, majority of the end of last season, and then of course this season. Okay, it's not been a good season for Arsenal, but however, Thomas Partey, another player I can really think. What about Bruno Gamache? What about Bruno?
Bangers and mash.
Great player.
Bruno Guimaraes, there we go. He's got it. I'm going to call him bangers and mash from now on, Luke. But
That's
Bruno
funny.
Guimaraes.
That's funny, Luke.
Roy's gonna have to clip that on one of his little debates, his little clip things. He's got to rewind that back. I think that's about a minute ago I said that.
Oh, Luca, mate, comedy, mate.
Josh, your
clip that, please.
Josh, your end of the season pod highlights. That's going in along with the train and all sorts. But
100%. I've got to make a whole video about all the podcast highlights. Man.
Bruno Guimaraes is probably the most similar. I think Thomas Partey's been excellent this season, but but he's also been sloppy at times. And I agree to some extent with you, Josh, that Zubimendi's a different type of midfielder. I think he sort of replicates some of that through the lines passing, which Thomas Partey's done less of this season. But he's a sort of different kind of defensive player. He's going to sort of win the ball by covering the space. I think you probably put Rice in the 6 and Zubimendi in more the 8, sort of more.
Yeah.
But more of them sort of more 6.5s. But my question is whether you sort of go, do you want a Camavinga and a Zubimendi, or do you want a Zubimendi and a different type of number 8, which is, so my preference is someone like Eze, who offers you something, doesn't offer you a great deal defensively, but sort of offers you that extra attacking option going forward if you're chasing games or if you're trying to break down a low block. Because I think some of our struggles this season with the low block has been that actually we're very, very solid. But that makes us slow because we can't do anything unpredictable with a midfielder, say Partey and Rice, or Merino and Rice, or Jorginho and Rice. But someone like Eze offers you something more unpredictable. So I think if Zubimendi comes in, well, I love Camavinga. I wonder if someone like Eze might be a smarter deal than Camavinga, even though Camavinga is a much better player than Eze. And no, it doesn't have to be Eze. I just use him as an example.
Yeah.
Do you think Eze and Zubimendi and Camavinga will work in the 3 though? Because we've got Declan Rice, we've got Odegaard there.
Yeah, they could, but I think, if I'm not playing Odegaard, I'm playing Wanyeri in that, so I think you're really looking at a 2, aren't you? And that's if you're resting Rice. So, it's a difficult one. I wonder if the number 8 we actually signed this summer is going to be Naipan if we can get him. I think if we got that, I don't think.
Oh yeah.
Because you start Rice and Zubimendi, for instance.
Is Naipan the answer? Is he the answer?
No, I think your
Yeah.
starting midfield is Rice, Zubimendi if he comes
Yeah.
in, and Odegaard. And then you have Merino as a squad player, and you have Naipan as a squad player, and you have Wanyeri as a squad player, and you use those as your other options. I think that's what will happen. But, if that doesn't happen, or we are looking for Naipan, who then goes out on loan and we bring someone in, a player like a Naipan or an Eze that does something a bit unusual.
Eze would be a good shot. He's a baller.
Yeah.
He's a baller, and
Yeah.
he'd be 100% who I would take. Like,
Yeah.
I do think we need a Martin Odegaard replacement for the future, because majority of that, where this season, look, Odegaard's been an important player. Look, I like Odegaard, don't get me wrong, but we're going to need a majority. I think if Arsenal are going to look down, they're not going to look down that route for the summer, this summer, maybe next year's summer, right? I think if you're going to go and get an Odegaard replacement, you have to get people like Barella, Musiala, Wirtz. They're the dreams.
You know who I'm just about to
the
suggest as well. Jesus Christ, I'm going to have to search up his name because I can't fucking pronounce it.
Who's he playing for?
AC Milan.
Reinders.
Yeah, Reinders, is that it?
Yeah, baller, mate. Baller.
His
Yes.
quality
Yes,
is baller,
yes.
man.
He'll be part of that 8 role.
That's the quality shout, mate. Reinders. He's Dutch, man. He's a proper good player for Milan. And
Yeah, he's quality, man. This is why Serie A are obsessed, knows everything about his own channel. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, he's really good. Like Reinders is. He
And
needs
he's in the Dutch squad against the so,
the quality of Serie A has gone up massively in the last
and
few
another
years.
midfielder, Bettina, as well. How did we not get prison tea break, Fabio Vieira, right?
That's you, mate. What you on about? That's you. You're looking like, bro.
Fabio Vieira, yeah?
Yeah,
I thought, by the way, you played really well for Porto the other day.
Yeah, of course. But I'm still an Arsenal player on loan. But Bettina would be what that game against Liverpool, Bettina, he would be someone who I'll take as a replacement of Martin Odegaard. I think Bettina for me would bring so much creativity to the team, bring a bit of flair. I think, he would be someone who I'll go and get in the summer.
Shout, mate. It's a shout, to be fair. He's looking really good for PSG, man. But, yeah. I want to talk about Odegaard quickly as well, because I know he's been getting a lot of hate, but I watched him in the Chelsea game. This is what I just viewed him, in my opinion, personally. I know what people say, he goes missing, but I kind of think it's a bit of a stretch with this Odegaard sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because against Chelsea, I was watching this guy, because I watched a bit of the game back today, yeah? I focused on this guy, man, because everyone's talking about Odegaard, he's missing. But every time he got the ball, he didn't put a foot wrong yet. I know people say, he doesn't get involved enough, which is your captain, you should be. I get that. But he didn't have a bad. I think the hate's more as bad as they're making it as bad as it actually is, because when he actually got the ball, he's trying to make stuff happen, man. And this guy's been tasked to drop back so deep as well. Like I noticed this with Odegaard. Look how deep the guy drops. Yeah, like he's skimming for the ball constantly. Half the time he doesn't even get it. When he does get it, he makes stuff happen, man. Look at that Trossard chance for the first 2 minutes. That came from Odegaard, man, making that space, making that run for me. Yeah.
The scoop pass the other day to Trossard, I think it was United game. It might have been PSV. I can't. One of the two. That was a lovely little ball where he doesn't get the reward. Martin Odegaard's had a disappointing season, no question. Right? I think it was fair to say he was going missing in January time. I don't know if he was still struggling with the injury or what. I don't know whether it's a newborn baby, but something has not been right with Martin Odegaard this season. But I think I said it after the PSV away game, his confidence sort of seemed to come back. Because I think before that, I think had we had players available, I think he gets dropped, right? And he needs to come out the side. But I think since that PSV game, he's started to look more like the Martin Odegaard of old. It's not quite come yet. It's not quite clicked yet. But you could see the confidence flowing back through. And, I think he started to tire in the Chelsea game last 20 minutes or so. But I agree. I think, everyone's saying he went missing the game. I don't agree. A lot of people saying he had a bad game. I don't agree. But what he has done is not been at the level he's been for the last 2 seasons. Where he was player of the season, he's not been at that level. I'm not ready to give up on Martin Odegaard at all, but he certainly needs to step himself up next summer from this, because it's been a disappointing season for him, and I don't know what the reason is behind it, because it's not just form, because it's gone on all season. You can sort of have poor form for 3-4 months at most, but it's been all season. He was poor before the injury as well.
No, he was, but at the same time, you look at it like, I agree. He should have been dropped in that period, but then we had no one else to play there, did we? That's the problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know what people say. Oh, Wanyeri can play there. I think he can play there, Wanyeri. I would love to see him there, but Saka's been injured. He's got to play on the right.
Yeah, I think if Saka or Martinelli was fit, then Wanyeri plays in the Odegaard rule. Sorry, Luca.
That's all right, but is Ethan ready to be that Odegaard replacement?
I don't think he needs to be. He can just fill in for a few. Well, it's a responsibility as well, right? Odegaard leads our press, etc., etc. Odegaard isn't your Tony Adams type leader, Patrick Vieira type leader. He's a very different type of leader, which isn't quite so obvious. But I think Luca, to some extent, is right. Would you want Wanyeri starting 35 games instead of Martin Odegaard? Absolutely not. But if Odegaard's having this poor runner's form, do you drop him for a couple of games and go, Wanyeri, you can come in, or bring Odegaard off and Wanyeri goes in there? And I think that's probably where I sort of see that, and then he builds into that role. And I think Wanyeri probably is the Odegaard replacement going. But we're talking 2-3 years down the line. It's sort of I was talking about this with Lee from Guna Gathering. Wanyeri, we should be taking the Phil Foden approach that Pep did with him at Manchester City, which is just ease him through. The danger is you end up with a Cole Palmer situation, and he goes, "I'm not waiting any longer, I'm going." But
true, yeah.
But I think the difference here is that Pep never trusted Cole Palmer, and I think it's very clear Arteta does trust Ethan Wanyeri, which hopefully makes him more Phil Foden than Cole Palmer, to finish the analogy.
Yeah, same fans that actually with negativity are the same ones that turn on players, the likes of Erdogan, Martinelli, Gabriel was one of them at some stage.
Declan Rice earlier in the season.
Yep, there you go. That's another one. Partey's another one. This is what I'm saying. I mean, I think it's more down to squad mismanagement than Martin Odegaard, because we've had no one to challenge his spot. My problem is I think he needs more. He needs to be more involved when it comes to, let's say, the game's fading away and we don't look like scoring, and then he just picks out that killer pass, or he has
rifles one in.
Yeah.
But how do we get
the
Odegaard back?
I think he will come back next season, but if he doesn't, then I think serious conversations will have to be held.
Agree entirely.
We'll have to upgrade if he doesn't perform next season. But to be fair, it does take a while to recover from an ankle ligament injury.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
it was also a newborn baby is a genuine killer. They take a lot of effort, but I mean, I think it will just come back naturally. To be fair, I really do, and I think it's starting to come back. It's just been a frustratingly long time.
I think if Saka comes back, that's when we will see the best of him as well. And if he gets a striker to supply, so he's not hopefully hugging the right hand side, because that's another thing as well. I don't understand why we don't play Odegaard more centrally.
Yeah, it's weird as well, man.
Yeah, we always have to hug him to the right hand side. It's unbelievable.
It works fine when you got Saka there, because they almost interchange, but it doesn't. It's not working at the moment, right?
No. I mean, to be fair, I thought that right hand side was the best I've seen in a while against Chelsea. I think Timber calls him a lot. Martinelli calls him a lot, especially in the first.
Martinelli gave us an outlet, didn't he?
Yeah, superb. And Odegaard, I thought those.
I will say this now, though.
I've seen a good right that we've had in a while, to be honest.
I don't think Martinelli was superb against Chelsea, but what he did do was give us that pacey outlet, and he gave us more of a threat going forward. Which
stretch the game more.
Yeah, I don't like him on the right hand side. I think Wanyeri should be starting on the right, and then Martinelli through the middle. And,
I agree.
Trossard on the left.
Martinelli down the middle,
Certainly got to have a look at Martinelli through the middle. Merino has done a job up there, right? But it's not, like we said earlier, it's not his natural position.
But do you think Martinelli, like the game when we played Chelsea just before the pandemic, like that 2-2 draw at the Bridge, Martinelli when he outspins Kante, why can't we not use that from 5 years ago?
Well, he played there against Liverpool as well in the cup game, didn't he?
Yeah, in the cup game.
For the brace.
Yeah.
He didn't play there against Chelsea, no.
No, but
No, he didn't. That 2-2 about he didn't. I don't think. I think he was on the wing.
He
Yeah, Lacazette played up front because of
But I know there's a period of time in that first season where he played as a striker for Arsenal, down the middle, sort of
But
thing.
why can't we do that against Real Madrid? Like majority of that, if Saka's going to be back from Madrid, you play Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard as the three.
Yeah, I think he's got that pace. I know he may have lost it, but I saw it a little sign when was it against that Badiashile guy? Completely stunning for pace.
I agree. I think it needs to be looked at, right? If we played Atletico Madrid, then you probably don't want Martinelli because they sit deep and there's not space going to be there. Real Madrid will leave space, and that's where you know, we were talking earlier in the season when Martinelli was bang out of form, and we were sort of saying if he doesn't perform in whatever the game was prior to it, do we drop him? And I said the next game is Spurs. You want Martinelli against Spurs because they will play high, and Real Madrid will play higher. And I think it's something we should be looking at with Martinelli now. Is, you know, well as Merino has done in that role, you know, given it's not his position, not saying he's suddenly Erling Haaland, Martinelli is another option. I think it's something we should be looking at.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Got a few questions. Drew says, would you take Rice as captain? I would.
Yeah, but he won't be my first choice.
Been our informed player recently.
The one for me would be Gabriel.
Yeah.
All day long. Gabriel for me.
I don't really care who wears the armband because I think what you want is lots of leaders. So Odegaard will lead quietly, but Rice and Gabriel can still be the captain without being the captain's armband, right? You know, you don't need the captain's armband to necessarily still be a leader. So and I think Rice in some ways is a captain, just like Gabriel. I think it's one of the strengths of Arsenal right now is there are 2 or 3 that can do that job, and that's a good thing. But we're not going to make a change at captain, and the players respect Odegaard, so I don't think you necessarily need to, right?
I think Saka's up there, isn't he? Because he was captain in like the time Odegaard was out. So he's definitely up there.
Yeah. Questions to the panel: would you start Tierney left back for both games against Real Madrid? Don't get me wrong, Scully's an unbelievable job there. Do you think he's more likely to get sent off if we? I think this is a great point. I think this is a good question. Really good question. Listen, for me, I still go with Lewis Skelly. I think he deserves to be playing. I think he's made it. That's his position right now. But you got to look at it this way as well. Against PSV, he's very lucky that he didn't get sent off. Yeah, very lucky. You know, in that first leg. And I think that comes like I don't look at him in terms of like. I mean, the kid's 17, man. Like he's going to be fired up. He's going to have that adrenaline about it. Yeah. You know, he's going to try to make a good impression.
Yeah, and another thing as well, you look at the players that have gone on international duty, right? Saliba's gone on international duty with Mbappe. Gabriel's gone on international duty with Vinny and Rodrigo. Lewis Skelly's gone on national duty with Bellingham.
And don't forget Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, mad.
So, like, I think that's one of the reasons why I would start Lewis Skelly, because he would know a bit more about, you know, Bellingham and what he's going to do through, you know, England. So I think obviously Saliba and Gabriel, I have no doubt that they can deal with Mbappe, and obviously Gabriel has to deal with, well, no, it's Timber, isn't it, who has to deal with Vinny, and I have no doubt that Timber can deal with Vinny, because I've not really seen him get skinned by any of his wingers. And then Lewis Skelly, he was lucky not to get sent off, but like, come on.
Lewis Skelly's done very well.
He still got an assist in that game, and he played the following game against PSV, didn't he? So
true, but I still think it's a good point to raise, to be honest, from there to always.
I agree. I mean, I think he's a very experienced defender, right? And I think if you play Tierney, you then invert Timber or White from the right. But I mean, Miles Lewis Skelly will start, but I think Tierney at left back is not, particularly if he plays really well for Scotland, gets some mistakes. It's not a bad shout at all, but it won't happen.
No, it won't.
Yeah, but my opinion on this, right? I kind of agree and kind of disagree. It's a bit 50-50. For me, I'd play Kieran Tierney because, don't get me wrong, I know Skelly probably does make sense because what Rory said, yes, of course, Mbappe's gone to the international break with Saliba, Gabriel's gone with Vinicius, this and that, knows Jude Bellingham. Maybe Skelly and Bellingham will play against each other in a training ground and will learn what to do, but for that Madrid game. But
that works both ways, right?
Well, yeah, of course. But I know Kieran Tierney's barely played this season, but Tierney's our best left crosser. And look, I know dropping Lewis Skelly probably is not the right thing to do, and you probably will have to go with Lewis Skelly. But I'd go with Kieran Tierney because you need a crosser against Real Madrid.
But I wouldn't play that way though. Like if you're playing against Atletico Madrid, then yeah, fair enough. But against Real Madrid, when they're going to leave gaps, like play Merino up there, when like really their back four, they are going to be open quite a few times because they'll come out and play.
But do you think Lewis Skelly will be able to stop the likes of Rodrigo, Vinicius, and all them lot? Is he confident?
I think he'll be able to contain Rodrigo.
Well, he's shown it in big games against Man City, Luca. Like he can do the business.
Man City is shit.
Yeah, but I
They're
think,
not.
He did it against Salah too.
I think, granted, he's been off his game this season.
Miles Lewis Skelly's done very well. He's passed every single test, but Real Madrid is the ultimate test, right? And I think his inexperience would be a concern, but also that passion, which Kieran Tierney will bring too, and desire, and how well he's played this season, probably means that he'll start. But I think if you're not starting Miles Lewis Skelly, then I think Kieran Tierney is a definite option.
Yeah.
Play Timber at right back because there's no way Ben White gets the team. Ben White doesn't suit the system.
Not at the moment, nah.
No, because he's too risky at the moment.
Ben White should not be in the team anyway. Julian Timber.
No, he should be in the team. He should be in the team, but like not right now.
Not
He should.
You don't start with Timber right now, no.
Yeah, but he's definitely our first choice right back. Like,
Gabriel Saliba or Tierney or Skelly should be in that team. And then midfield, you go with Partey, Rice, Odegaard. And then up front, fingers crossed, Saka's fit. And then you go for Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard. Or do you even throw Ethan in the equation?
Well,
Ethan on the
I
left.
don't think Saka will be there. I don't think Saka will be.
I can see him going with Calafiori at left back, to be honest.
I wouldn't do that against Real Madrid.
No, I wouldn't.
Left back ain't gonna work.
Well, you don't think Saka's going to, not after what there was a rumour today that he could be on the bench against Fulham?
No. For me, I think just play. Just look at it this way: like the guy's had a torn hamstring. Yeah, I don't see him back too soon. I don't think that will happen. If it is, then fair enough, man. But I'm just playing. Sort of just say that don't happen, Luca. Then Wanyeri on the right, obviously.
Well, Wanyeri on the right.
And Martinelli, I agree with Martinelli for the middle though. That's like this manager needs to try. I don't know why he's not done it yet, but he needs to try and done it.
If you play Martinelli, right?
But it's not going to happen because like Marino's like our third top scorer, I believe, this season.
Yeah,
Which is mental.
7 goals this season.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, if you play Martinelli up top, people criticise about his chances. Even the chance at Old Trafford where it was offside. And the majority of that, you can't be missing chances against the Real Madrid side. I understand it's going to be a very difficult game.
Yeah, but it's not just Martinelli who's missing chances, is it?
No, it's how it's other chances of the players.
Like, I get what you're saying. You can be wasteful in front of goal at times,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I think for me, that's confidence, man. I think that over the years, recent years, has been the decline of Martinelli. As well, he's declined massively.
But
Like, you look at him on the win.
He's a player who
He's just position making. I think at times, even in the Chelsea game, at times he just doesn't. He gets to the final third, he doesn't make the right decision for me.
First half, he looked brilliant against Bad Shire.
He did.
And the second half, he went misfiring. He went missing.
Yeah,
I think the other thing we do as well, because we watch the Arsenal games and we don't watch others, there is a little bit of a misconception that every other striker scores every chance they get, and we remember the ones we miss. But I mean, it's definitely true at the same time that Havertz and Martinelli do miss a lot of chances, and that's certainly an area they both can improve on. At the moment, with Martinelli coming back with that lack of sharpness, you kind of expected a little bit more, but also history tells you that he's I need 3 chances to score player. So both can be true. But yeah, I think Martinelli for me got to be in with a conversation about starting at number 9. I kind of get why it hasn't been seen since he came back, because you probably want to ease him in where he is used to playing more, and certainly you don't want Martinelli against a low block. But it would have been something we might have seen against Chelsea. But I think, having started him, you start him on the wing. But had he been on the bench, I wonder if that might have been something we'd looked at.
Possibly, yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. The problem is we've got teams that are going to low block against us before Real Madrid. So is there much opportunity to see it? I don't know.
Yeah, true, man.
I mean, come on, Saka is world class. Let's just have it.
Who said he's not?
It's always in the chat.
Why does his fan base think Saka's world class? He ain't your
Right,
man.
he is world class. Let's just have it right. He is world class.
He's one of the 3 best right wingers in the world, right? Salah,
Yeah,
Yamal.
you have to be world class if you are at least top 3 in your position.
As long as it's a deep, like I don't, the 3rd best left back in the world might not be world class because there aren't great many left backs at the moment.
Yeah.
But I definitely
What-
agree with your point
what-
in general, Rory.
What do you like, guys? Because people say different things about making up their. What do you guys define as like world class? What aspects you?
Well, numbers, consistency.
Yeah. Is it like do they walk in every single team in the Premier League, for example?
Yeah.
For me, I think Saka does.
Well,
With the exception possibly of Liverpool, but that's
No, but
because
then play Saka on the left wing. They Saka on the left and play Salah on the right.
Yeah. So he does walk into every single
Walks in
team.
every. Yeah.
I was talking as a right winger, but that's because I say Liverpool's a possible exception, but that's because they've also got a world class winger.
Yeah,
Because
they've got
Salah
world-class
walking
winger,
the Arsenal wing team as a right winger.
How could we just say this now, right? Look at how we were when Saka, before he got injured, and look at us now going forward. Right, and look at the numbers he was producing.
I think you can sort of see I think Rory's right in terms of the description, but I think you can also see what difference it makes to the team when they're missing. Right? If you took Salah out of Liverpool this season, I think he's still got 70% of their goals or assists come from Salah this season or something daft like that.
Crazy.
And that for me shows the consistency of that. And you look at what happens to that team if he were to come out. They didn't even beat Plymouth. I know he wasn't the only one missing that day, but I think there's things like that. Salah for me world class, Yamal world class, Saka world class. They're the 3.
Yeah, those are the 3. 100%. And when Salah eventually moves on, Saka will eventually become the best right winger in the Prem.
In the Premier League.
I mean, Yamal for me, I don't class as world class yet because I don't think I've seen it long enough. But there's no question in my mind he's going to be world class because I think you sort of need to see it over 3, 4, 5 year period. To be there, which he has, but that's because he's not old enough to have done it over that period.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? But he's going to be world class, no question.
They say he's such a robotic winger, but like considering the guy has been doubled up on pretty much every single week
and kicked a buggery.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, like, I want to wait until Yamal eventually gets doubled up on and see how he gets on.
Do you think he's world class?
Produces the same consistency. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, Luca. Do you think Saka's world class in your opinion?
I think for me, Saka is a world class player, but I don't think he's not in the top 3 in my opinion. I think for me, he has to be in the 4th spot because
who's your 3?
I don't think Yamal is levels above Saka.
I think it has to be.
He's a better footballer, but I don't think he's levels above him. Like,
I think it has to be Salah, Mbappe, and Yamal.
No, but
Mbappe's not a right winger though. No, he's predominantly a left winger, but he's playing up front for Real Madrid.
Or you're putting Vinicius Junior over Saka.
Vinny's a left winger though. We're talking right wingers.
What about right wingers?
Well, right wingers, okay, fair enough. Maybe with Bukayo Saka goes in the top 3.
But the fact he's in the conversation with the likes of Mbappe and Junior
for Real Madrid.
No.
Yeah, it's a good shout, but I think Saka's
Rodrigo's not been great this season.
No, he hasn't. But he's a quality player.
Yeah.
But, he's a good player. I'll definitely take him, but I don't think he's better than Saka.
It's where I agree with Rory. 3's about the number you're looking at for world class because I think to be world class, you can't go, I'm the 10th best player in my position, I'm world class. But there are some positions that are deep in others where you could maybe go to 4 or 5 and still class them as that. And in others, you're looking at maybe 1, 2. Rodrigo. Yeah, I think Rodrigo's a very, very good player.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
but I don't think he's on the level of Saka, to be honest.
I don't think so
He's been
either.
doubled up on every week, and he's still putting up numbers, and like the attack he's had to deal with as well all season. Like,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for him, then
100%.
I'm not saying like we win the league with Saka in the team, but
I think we do actually. But
I don't think so. We're still 9 points behind, even with Saka in the team. But still, that doesn't take away the fact. I think Saka in this team is a cheat code at times.
I also think
Yeah,
that had Saka stayed fit, I think we probably close the gap a little bit now. And then the pressure goes on Liverpool, and you see, you never know. Like the pressure's been on Liverpool this week, and they've choked twice. And I'm not, choked is unfair. To be fair, they played two very good sides, so I take back the word choke, but you get what I mean. But Liverpool, definitely going to win the league, and I think there's definitely a solid argument. If you were putting money on, do Arsenal with Saka win the league? Had he stayed fit, the answer is no. You don't put money on it, but we could well have done. But you've probably still put your money on Liverpool.
Yeah, and also another reason that defines world class is you turn up in big games.
Yeah, which he does.
Yeah, but he scored against every single team in the Big Six. He scored, I think, in the Champions League against PSG.
Bayern Munich last season.
Yeah, Bayern. Although I think the only game I think he didn't turn up in was Bayern. That's the only game I can remember he didn't turn up in.
Say that again. Second leg.
Second leg in Bayern.
Second leg. Yeah, that's true.
I think Robert Pires was more of a left winger now. Yeah, he's more of a left-sided player than.
Yeah, Pires left.
Than Saka. It was Freddie Ljungberg who was playing on the right.
I love Freddie Ljungberg.
Baller, mate. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I still love him as a manager as well, man. A little bit. Freddie as a manager.
Between Emery and Arteta, wasn't
he? Yeah. I remember he played our best front three at the time. Pepe, Aubameyang, and who's the other one?
Pepe, Lacazette. Oh my God! You haven't forgotten Aubameyang, have you?
No, I said Aubameyang, Pepe.
That West Ham game when Pepe.
Yeah, that West Ham game when everyone was crying out for that.
Martinelli, Aubameyang.
We played our best front three, and then he did it, and then we won 3-1. Big up Freddie, man.
Oh yeah, no, Aubameyang, Martinelli, and Pepe. Yeah.
Martinelli. That was the other one. Yeah, Martinelli.
Yeah.
That's Martinelli. Was that Martinelli down the middle as well? Was that
Martinelli,
that was on the left.
Aubameyang was down the middle. Yeah.
Aubameyang made it 1. We won the match.
Yeah. No, big up Freddie, man. Big up Freddie. But yeah, anyone want to cover before you get out of it? We covered everything, I think.
Yeah.
Luca, you got anything to say?
Just about what about international men? We'll talk about international football.
No.
I'm gonna fall asleep now, Luca, mate. I'm gonna fall asleep now.
Thomas Tuchel's game in charge against Albania this week.
Luca, we should invest in we should go into a Zimmer frame company together. We can supply the England squad, right, with Jordan and Carl Walker and.
We could. We could. I don't know why Jordan Henderson's in the squad.
Oh no, it's always just Sanchez, man.
You can't do that.
God, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to take Alexis.
It's gotta be Alexis.
He was the idol.
Sanchez, mate, all day long.
I think
I'm putting one on the left and one on the right.
Further than him one day. Like if Saka Premier League of Arsenal, then yeah, I think he goes above Alexis. But
yeah, if he wins the league,
yeah, I think you got to put him above Alexis. But
for us,
if we had a prime Alexis right now in his current team, then oh my days.
I play both. I move one to the left.
Oh my God.
Yeah, playing them both. Oh my.
Alexis Sanchez. Why not? Sanchez could be a Sanchez from Udinese. Why not? Why don't we not bring him back?
Run it back.
He might retire. You don't know. So
run it back.
Are you in a time machine or something, Luca?
But Luca, you got any content coming up, mate?
Yeah, content-wise coming up. Of course, tomorrow I think we're going to do a live stream tomorrow. I need to think what to do tomorrow. Probably going to cover a bit of Italy, Germany games, a few international football. Maybe do a match reaction straight after the game. Saturday got a vlog to do. Of course. Then next week build up to the Fulham game next week. Not too much content coming up.
I think it's midweek now.
Is it?
2
It's
weeks,
Monday
isn't it?
night, ain't it?
We're in midweek.
Monday
Yeah.
night, I thought. 8 o'clock.
No, I think it's Tuesday.
Was it
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yes, 15 days until we play again.
I need to find a Fulham fan. So,
Because
Josh,
it's
you have to
FA
bring
Cup
back
week
the
as well, ain't it? After international break.
yeah, so I need to find a Fulham fan.
Josh, you've got to bring back the quizzes, bro.
I have to bring back
We
this.
do, man. We do. Yeah, we do, man. 15 days. You're right. We do.
I know a Fulham fan.
Who?
Do you?
No, I really do. Like a mate of mine's a Fulham fan.
There you go, Luca. You got Fulham.
Why not? If he wants to come on, it's up to him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tuesday, the 1st of April is our next league game.
April Fool's Day, mate.
Yeah,
April Fool's
12
Day.
o'clock.
Oh,
Arsenal and
This
April
is-
Fool's Day
Arsenal,
against
Arsenal A
Fulham.
v Arsenal B.
Yeah,
this is Dom's favourite time of the year, isn't it? April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day, mate. April Fool's, and Arsenal got Fulham. Oh my days.
When I rise to inevitable power and become leader of the supreme leader of the universe, April Fool's Day is one of the many things I'm banning, along with Valentine's
Fool.
Day.
April Fool, Arsenal getting an injury now.
God, you can see it happening now.
Yeah.
By the way, if that happens, I'm blaming you entirely for jinxing it, Luca.
You jinxed it, man. You jinxed it, Luca, mate.
I'll probably end up getting loads of burner accounts on April Fool's Day anyway.
Yeah, mad. But yeah, big up Luca, man. It's been a while, man. So big up-
Eventually, the restream has worked. Hashtag
yeah, big up Richie, mate.
Big up. Josh, what have you got coming up?
I'll go last. Let me go to the other part. I'll go last. Let me go to the other part.
Your show, you should definitely go last.
Yeah, best of last.
Yeah, he's like Bisto.
But Dom, what you got? You got anything planned, mate? Coming up?
Yeah, I've got a video out tomorrow. I can't remember what the hell I called it, but I recorded it earlier. Yeah, I was looking at I look back a little bit at Premier League history and sort of on this season a little bit. I have got a video prepared that is waiting to go out on when Andrea Berta is confirmed. You know, it's Arsenal, so somewhere around September 2026, he will be announced as a new director of football. That will be what's in his intro. Otherwise, it's international break, isn't it? It's quite quiet. So I'll just, it'll be fairly quiet on my channel, to be fair, because I'm not going to put content out just for the sake of it. I mean, he says having just done 2 videos just for the sake of it, but you know what I mean. I'm not going to do daily content just for daily content, but that's what's coming out. But yeah, and once again, thanks to everyone that has supported. As I say, I think I'm 4 months old today. I was in my channel, not me.
Oh, big up, man. Big up. How many subs are you from 100?
I'm going for 100. I'm at 65, 66, something like that at the moment. But yeah, it's good fun, right? And that's the main thing.
Man. Me, I'm 54 away from 8.4, so we've got a bit of a milestone to get there, but we will get there eventually.
I'm a wee bit behind.
Well, I have been doing this for 5 years. This one, and then
yeah, I think it's 4 months today.
big up, man. Big up.
So
Yeah.
a lot of people have been asking me to do it for a while. I was like, no. And as my mate Tim from America, who was the first one to start encouraging me to do it, we do a bit of NFL stuff together. He said,
Oh, yeah.
What a name, by the way. I love that name, Tim.
fair enough. It rhymes with what laptops tried to autocorrect my name to, which is Dim. But yeah, he said one day you'll get frustrated and you will just start a channel. But it took a lot of persuading by a few people. But yeah, it's all good fun, and that's the main thing.
Oh, 100%, mate. 100%. What about you, Rory, man?
Yeah, I mean, I uploaded a skit earlier today, actually, which is on the channel now. If you haven't already checked it out, please do. It's it wasn't nice because obviously I had to cook my own club, but it is what it is.
That was quite funny though.
I might do a watch on for the England game because why not? There's nothing else to upload at the moment. And then obviously we'll be back into the swing of things when Arsenal kick off again against Fulham. So, yeah, I mean, not much throughout the international break because there's literally nothing to upload. But yeah, perhaps a couple of skits here and there because I'm planning on, bringing the sketches back to the channel. I haven't really done many in a while. So, yeah, and I've thoroughly enjoyed doing them, to be honest. So,
there we go, guys. Big up everyone, as always, for all the support in the chat tonight as well. Thanks everyone for all the likes. Big up the panel for the time. We went for 2.5 hours, man. Jesus, I don't even feel like it, man. But yeah, big up for all the support as always. We're back tomorrow as always, people. I don't need to tell you what's coming up. You know I'm here every single day, no matter what. So we'll catch you guys tomorrow as always. Big up everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow as always. Come on, you Gunners.